Hello and welcome to Supercoach DR's YouTube channel. You're watching Supercoach Swordplay, Season 4, Episode 4. How good is it, DR? Straight into the thick of things now. We just had Gather Round, and what a spectacle that was. Beautiful weather. Unlike last year, I think I watched every single game. Supercoach is a bit questionable. A couple of regrets. We'll get into that later. But first of all, Legend, how are you doing, man? What's been happening?
I'm going pretty well, mate. Pretty well. I mentioned last week I was starting school holidays, so bang right in the middle at the moment. But I tell you what, I might be going back to school for a bit of a break because looking after these boys at the moment, absolute carnage. And the little fella Riv, man, I'd tell you, just a couple of hours alone with him, it's enough to send you around the twist, mate. But yeah, going well. Good to spend some time with the boys and all the rest. Super coach wise, mate. Going not too bad. Actually had a pretty decent week. Now, for the Spotify listeners, and shout out to you guys, welcome and great to have you on for our first season on Spotify. But you won't be able to see any of the visuals here, but for our YouTube audience, you obviously will. So from now on, we'll try to get a few more visuals just so you can see what we're talking about. And so what we've got for our round review this week, Spills, is we'll start off just with the two of ours. You can see ours right there on the screen. So pretty decent week for me, mate. It was a 23.72, which was a top 1% round score. And all of a sudden, into the top 2% overall, mate. So cannot complain because at this time last year, I was in the absolute dungeons. But after a pretty decent score, it now sees me with a season rank of 3,474. Now, the issue is here, mate. I've burned through 3 boosts, but remember, I had one in the bank last year. That certainly won't be happening this year, my man. But at this stage, pretty happy with things. My tradings for last week. So this is where, and I don't want a big head myself, but absolutely nailed him this week, Spilsy. So out went James Jordan, coming up to a buy. Not really impressed me too much at the moment. Jack Billings was the first player that I said goodbye to. And then this is where the boost come in. Ollie Wines, a hamstring. They reckon this is going to be a 1 week hammy. And I thought, give us a break. 1 week hammy. I don't think so. So out you go. Ollie brought in Sam Darcy, Sam Flanders, and the Man of Steel. He's got no kryptonite at the moment. He is in ripping form. So that's where I really nailed those trades. And then I think you were pretty similar here, mate. Isaac Heaney as the big Capitano. Couldn't go past him. Had him as a vice captain. Steele's actually going to be the backup, but locked in that massive score from Isaac. And, you know, I was at the princess party, had the tiara on. Cross my fingers for a 1+ score. So I have actually borrowed that tiara or stolen that one from my little niece. And I'm going to wear that every week when I watch my captain play, mate. It's going to be one of the superstitions. So the tiara will be on from now on because it did give me some good luck. So pretty decent round for me, Spilsy. How about yourself, Legend? Before you do, tell us, how's the missus going? And she'd be pretty happy. Cat's 4-0 at the moment, mate. Absolutely flying. Are things flying with you two at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely in full swing now. Yeah, she's great. She's really not really the biggest football person, but yeah, ever since we've been chatting, she's just gotten right into it. And like get this, she follows Essendon and Geelong on Instagram now. So things are getting serious there. Like follows the AFL. She replied to me like last night and she's like, "Oh, sorry for the late reply. I've just been watching like Geelong reels." And I'm just loving this because like, I don't care. Like, she can do whatever like she wants, but it's just such a bonus, like having a partner that's getting into footy and got something to really talk about. And yeah, she was over Saturday night. We're watching the Doggies and Geelong game, and a very sort of nervy end to the game. But it was a good win for the Cats, and yeah, she's pretty happy. So yeah, 4-0. The Cats are flying.
Love it.
But yeah, we'll touch on the Supercoach, mate. Yeah, absolutely. But
just very quickly, I was really worried that she was going to turn you. You might be turning her. So rather than you having the big Brandon Parker jumper in the back there, mate, she may have a number 14 somewhere, you know, maybe hanging on her closet very, very soon. So maybe this is swinging the other way, mate. I like your form here, Spills. I like your form. But tell us about your Supercoach form, mate.
Yeah, well, not as good as you, obviously. I wouldn't blame you if you wore that bloody tiara thing to any function, any Supercoach, next Supercoach event, a crown, you got to wear it. I mean, that's your symbol, isn't it? I mean,
yep, lock it in.
How can you go wrong? You ranked 10K for the week. That's huge. That's such a big rank jump ranked 3.4K. You've had me on toast for sure. And yeah, just did everything right. I mean, yeah, couldn't take anything away from you there.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
I
my
went
friend.
2,000 says there anyway, but yeah, 2,234. And look, man, I actually thought I had a really good week. I don't look at my team and think of any negatives. I reckon it's a really nice team. The balance is good. I have a nice structure, and I think I'm gonna have a good season. But this week was one of those weeks where the guys that you don't own really made you pay. So no Nick Martin, no no, I'm gonna blank. How come when you start recording, DR, you just have absolute mental blanks?
I didn't want to jump in, mate. I know.
Jack
I just didn't
Steele,
want to jump
like,
in because the pain
yeah.
could be too real for you this week with a particular player, mate. In and under my
Oh,
favourite tattoos. I wasn't going to mention it. I wasn't going to mention it.
I'll go into
I
that.
thought I may
Yeah.
need to jump in, mate. Maybe you've just put the memory, sometimes out
Let's
of your
get
head
into it.
when you hate something so much, you think I'm never going to think about this again. Just pretend it didn't happen. Sorry to jump in there, mate. I didn't mean to do that.
Nah, you're right. You're right. No, look, it wasn't really him as such. I'll touch on that in a minute. But yeah, like your Nick Martin types, like Jack Steele, Sam Flanders, Tom Brown. I mean, there's other ones as well, but these are all players that are very highly owned at the moment, particularly in that top sort of 5K range overall that I don't have. My trades for this week. So I traded out, I can't specifically remember. I know I traded out Lazaro over Berry because, well, he got dropped, and then Sexton made way, and then I kept Jordan, but someone else went. I don't know who it was, but anyway, I bought
Billings?
in.
Were you a Billings owner?
Nah, never had him, mate.
You never
Yeah,
got trapped. Well done,
no,
son.
never,
Well done.
never had.
I thought you may have been trapped like many others of us, but well done,
No, look,
mate,
that's
for avoiding
one
that
thing I did
pitfall.
right.
Far out, eh? Dang.
Yeah, well, when he got subbed out round 0, I just thought, like, I don't want to go there. And then, yeah, like, fortunately for me, it didn't really work out. But yeah, I can't remember who the other guy was I traded out other than Lazaro. But yeah, Lazaro, Sexton, and Libba. They got rid of Tom Liberatore. So people come after me for this one. Yeah, Big J in particular, he let me know about it.
Big J with the drive by, just with
Bloke
the
from
windows
footy had
down
a bit
low.
of a cheap swing at me. I won't mention
Cheap
his
score.
name, but he knows who he is. But look, I traded out Libba because I thought there was a bit of Jordan Dawson about this. He was 650K. Like the one time he played good, he got subbed out. Are they going to manage him because of his age? I mean, they've got Harvey Gallagher run through there. McRae's coming back. I just kind of thought that he's going to be a good pick, but not that sort of top 10 midfielder. And when you're paying 650K and Zach Butters is going off chops, I just thought, like, I just got to correct this. I've got to, like, the highest score I had from Libba was a 115, and that was in that, no, yeah, it wasn't even in the West Coast game because he got subbed out, obviously. So, look, it just didn't really go my way. He responded in fine fashion, played probably one of the most best individual performances I've ever seen. Zach Butters, not so much. So, I think it was just a bit unlucky, but yeah, stick to your guns, hold your primos. I've traded out Martin, Young, and Libba, all of them this year. And then, yeah, the lowest from any of them the next week after I traded them was, 130 from Hayden Young. So, yeah, big lesson learned. It is a curse. It's, death, taxes, and then, the player that you traded out, premium in particular, like making you pay the following week. So, yeah, look, I did that. I won't argue with Butters. I think Butters is a better pick than Libba. And I would rather like Libba go off and me own Butters than, own Libba and then Butters go off and I don't have him because it's a bad antipod to have. So I guess in hindsight, it's not too bad. The short term, mate, it broke my heart. It was one of the worst trades I've ever done in Supercoach. I was absolutely livid about it. It was one where I actually got mad when people were talking about it. Like, I know it's just a game, but I was getting pissed off thinking, like, fucking shut up. Like, this is the pod that I backed in. I know. Yeah, exactly. Oh, look, it's the elephant in the room. Elephant in the room, DR. I mean, we just got to address it. I'm hoping that
you did head on as well, mate. Head on as well. You took ownership and your glass half full approach, looking at getting in Butters rather than losing him. You've got a new man. You're not worried about the ex. You're just moving on, mate, which I like as well. So I think that's
good to know. There's a safe space in the Swordplay podcast as well.
Absolutely. Not
But
always, mate. But for this week, I thought special consideration for you, buddy. So,
look, I
because I'd heard
deserve I deserve everything that comes. At the end of the day, I trade out a bloke that scored 155. So, like,
yeah,
take that with a grain of salt. But when you're a content creator and have your own Supercoach sort of podcast, it doesn't look good on reflection. But I'm hoping in round 20 it'll be worth it, and Butters is averaging a lot more than Liver. Hopefully, touch wood. But that was my plan, and it's done now. We
well,
move on. Can't undo it
we all get a
anymore.
mulligan.
So
We all get a mulligan, mate. That's all right. That's all good. We move on. We move on and enjoy our new player that we have.
exactly. But yeah, it wasn't the best for me, mate. 4 out of 17 league wins. The only good thing that happened for me is, if you can believe this, VC'd Max Gorn, and then I don't know if I actually did dream, but I woke up on Saturday morning and the first thing I thought was, I've got a Captain Heaney. I don't think I dreamt about him. It wasn't an I dream of Heaney situation, quite literally. But I woke up and I don't know why, but the first thing I thought of was captain this bloke. He's going to go off. I just have a feeling. I did it. It was a big gamble because who's turning down a 129? And
Oh,
didn't he just deliver DR 165 as a captain? Like, it was a bit risky. And then I was tearing my hair out at quarter time because he'd only had about 4 touches, but just high impact, mate. Didn't need a lot of it, but he was still on like 30 because the tackle count was up, like the score assists were up, and he got busy in that third quarter, kicked a couple of goals, and mate, I was cheering. I was absolutely going off my head, but that's the only real positive that happened for me this week, mate.
just very quickly on that, mate. I reckon I had about 4 DMs from people going, do I take Gorn's VC? Do I captain Heaney? And I reckon every one of those people, I said, make sure that you just take the VC on Gorn. Not one of them listened to me. They all went Heaney, then sent me a message going, lucky I didn't listen to you. So people ask me the question. I give advice at times, and they just go against it. Maybe that's the plan. We'll ask DR, whatever he says, we'll do the exact opposite, and we actually should be pretty right. But well done, mate. Guts. And you did risk it for the biscuit, and you got a very, very nice biscuit this week, mate. We're talking one of the we're talking to Tim Tam here. That's top level in my book. You got an absolute Tim Tam. You could have got one of those black and gold wafers, but you got an absolute Tim Tam this week, my friend. But very quickly, before we do continue to move on, mate, we do have another round review. We haven't forgotten about you, brother. I know we haven't mentioned you yet, but we do have Janath's round review. Before we get into this, and I've got a screenshot here of the DM that he sent through at some stage this morning. We have some nice photos here. So in Amsterdam now,
Tough, obviously.
I don't know if Janath and the folks would be engaging the activities that I may be engaging in if I was in Amsterdam. I might just leave it there, my friend. But
Totally
who knows?
agree with you.
Who knows? I'm not too sure how wild
I'll dabble
Janath
in,
and
that's
the
for
crew's going to
sure.
get. But one thing I will say, don't they just look like lovely human beings there, Janath's folks? And wait, what an opportunity to spend some time with the family, some quality time. So great to see some lovely photos there, brother. We are certainly missing you and really looking forward to you being back next week. But for Janath's quick round review spills, I'll quickly take over for this one. He has scored a 23.55, if you don't mind. Top 2% score for the rounds, and now ranked at 3,404 overall. 11,664 million squad value, with Jez Sharp and Tom Brown being the main rookie misses. I need to put my hand up there, mate. I'm absolutely the same. Trade outs were Wines, Billings, and Lazaro for Steele, Flanders, and Darcy. So almost the same trade-ins and trade outs for the two of us, mate. I obviously wasn't a Lazaro owner. I had James Jordan there. So very happy with his trades there. Went VC Butters into Heaney. So we all dreamed this week. And there was no nightmare in sight, mate. Freddy Krueger was nowhere to be seen. Just had one of those beautiful genies that we all dream of. Oh, and very quickly, now I'll finish this and then I'll ask about this. Went VC Butters into Heaney, as I said. Didn't take the 119. So Janath paying a little bit risky, the professor there, but it paid off big time. Big swing with the call to go to Steele over Took so far, and a little bit of a pat in the back for us, Spilsy. All over Steele we were. That was a big question last week. But very quickly, mate, before we move on, and again, shout out to you, Janath. Certainly miss you, brother. Looking forward to you coming back. I tried to find the video. I forget whether you sent it to me on text or through the Swordplay Messenger or where it was you going off with the handy egg. It was like that 5-second video. You
Yeah, I
absolutely
just
lost
pulled it
your
up just
mind.
then. Yeah, I still kept it.
I tell you, we need to share that somewhere because, like,
It's on Twitter.
I'll tell you guys, Spills had he's going nuts like an absolute lunatic, if you don't mind. So I love that from you, Spills. He risked it this week, got the Tim Tam, but Janath risked the 119. Not as much of a risk as you with the 10
Not a
points.
risk at all. Like, I'm not taking a 119 at all. I mean,
Nah,
regardless of Heaney had West Coast, like, but 129 in my case, that's a risk. You take that. But 119 is kind of like, nah, send it. Like, I wouldn't take a 119, like, unless it was a really hard week.
Yeah, that's a good point, mate.
Really good week from Janath. That's similar to you. I was a loser this week, but I was a winner last week. So, like, you can't have it all.
That's it, mate. What goes around comes around. And Janath is a total of 2 points ahead of me, like 2 points in overall score. So it makes me sick that I'm not the top of the pod. But, you know, it's hard to get past a great man. We call him the professor for a reason. And, yeah, there's going to be some big competition this year, Spills. I know that you have your big weeks and you're going to come home like an absolute steam train there. We'll look at your trades later on. But, yeah, it's going to be a lot of competition to see who finishes top of the pod this year, mate. Could be any one of us at this stage. So, yep, that's our reviews for the week, mate.
Been a great contest. I think it's time for your rant, mate. I took over last week, but I think it's time to give you your hot seat back. I'm keen to hear what sort of material you've got prepared for us tonight.
Well, look, mate, you know, I'm very thankful that we play a free game, and I don't like to rag on Supercoach and all the rest, but I'm going to really, really start to question here champion data and their method for scoring. Now, we know that the great Jaden Popovsky has put out a heap of information for us. So what the small acts give you, different positions on the ground, all the rest. He has done a fantastic job. Now, there's two players that I'm really going to question here, Spills, and this may be bonus bias, but the first man I'll talk about is Tom Powell. Now, the man was an absolute tackling beast. Now, fair enough, he didn't get a lot of the peel, did in the final term, which is really nice, but I just could not believe that this man was scored a 73. I thought, come on, just those tackles alone should have got him 50 to 60 odd points. So I put out a tweet to Jaden. I said, mate, what is going on here? Can you use your elite method of scoring here and actually calculate what you think he should have been scored? And long story short, scored a 73 just by Jaden's method alone. He was robbed of 6 points, mate. So champion data, what are you doing? Are we not rewarding tackles anymore? Come on, give us an absolute break. So Tom Powell, I guarantee, mate, highway robbery, he should have been on an 80 plus, in my humble opinion anyway. Second bloke. And again, probably a reason why I'm even more cut this week is because I don't own Jeremy Sharp and Dempsey and all these other great rookies that are making cash. I'm stuck with bloody Jai Clark and Sexton, Reed and Marty, who are all these wonderful elite rookies, mate, that are making me heaps of cash at the moment. But one bloke is Darcy Wilson. He's someone I need making me money. Got a 25 the week before. Thought, oh, geez, the cash gen, we're looking at a real slow burn here. But last week looked so much better. Now, Spills, tell me if I'm right here, mate. The big difference between AFL Fantasy and Supercoach is that Supercoach rewards big plays in big moments. Am I right, mate? Would you agree with this, Spills?
Absolutely. Do you remember, I don't know why I remember this one in particular, but do you remember Jordan Dawson's score when he kicked the goal after the siren in the showdown? So I reckon he was on about 95 and then dobbed it. I mean, it was after the siren, so it was bloody clutch. And then, yeah, it just went off. I think he was 120, 130. Did a couple of other things in the red time, which got him over the line. So there's that one. And here's another random one, because you mentioned Marty Hoare, but I don't know how good's your Supercoach memory, DR. Do you remember? I don't know why I thought of this one, but in 2019, he kicked a very clutch goal from outside 50 that got Melbourne the win against the Suns up there one day, I reckon it was.
I do not.
And that got him about 20 points. So 100%. I mean, if you kick a goal late in red time, when there's that 5-minute warning sort of thing, and particularly if it's within 10 points and it's the icing on the cake or a goal that gets you up or a tackle that wins the game, I mean, yeah, you deserve more points. And I think I can agree with you in a sense, man. I reckon Darcy Wilson was in particular was absolutely robbed.
I'll tell you, mate. I'll tell you. I was watching the scores like an absolute hawk. Put a tweet out with a little
Of course you were.
image, waiting, waiting for him to get scaled up. He got 3 points, and this is what he got 3 points for. This is with under 2 minutes to go in his defensive line. He got a tackle, free kick for holding the ball. Big moment, mate, because the Tigers were steaming home at this point in time. Nice, long, effective disposal. Beautiful. And I thought, what a massive act. What a massive act, particularly in that area of the ground with the amount of time left on the clock. Scores really tight. So we're talking, mate, if you break it down, a tackle, free kick 4, long, effective disposal, in a clutch moment, 3 points. There you go, Mr. Wilson. 3 points. Are you kidding me, mate?
Disgusting.
When I need this cash gen, that's what Champion Data's given me. So absolute rants on Champion Data. I don't know, and no one will ever know how they actually work this sort of stuff out. And I could get it at the end of the game. Let's just say if they're 7 goals in front, it's like, oh, well, it doesn't really matter. Nice tackle. Well done, son. Have a few extra points. This was a time of the game where the game was really on the line still. So
critical
absolutely,
moment.
I'm going to say we're very upset with Champion Data this week. Ripped off 2 of my players, mate. But that is my rant. Not happy, Champion Data. Explain yourselves, people. Explain yourselves.
And then when you think that Ryan would get more points for playing on out of the goal square and kicking it 60 meters down the line to a 50-50 contest. So when you compare those acts together in like a bone crunching tackle late in the game, give us a spell, Champion Data.
Who knows, mate? Who knows?
That's definitely a volcano that they should have had on the footy show. But DR, speaking of volcano, I'm back in the hot seat, mate. I'm having a rant. I've got a taste for it after last week. I don't know what it was.
I didn't know this was happening. All right, then. Well, yeah.
I'm having another rant because I know it's DR's rant, but I've got one myself, and it is Kane Corn. So this one is, well, Kane, stay in your lane, mate. Stay in your lane. Where it's Jason Horne-Francis, Tim Taranto, best 150, whatever. I don't care. Go on any sort of tangent. I don't mind. Sam Welsh, Connor Rosé, go for it. Do whatever you want. I was going to let the first one slip, but today, or I think it was last night, Footy Classified, this was the straw that broke the camel's back, and the camel's back being my Supercoach ego. And DR, I can't let this one slide. So those might have watched it a week or so ago. He slammed Nick Martin because playing out from kick-ins isn't really a stat. And to an extent, I kind of agree with him, but it's so good for Supercoach. It's so good.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I kind of agree with it too. I don't know. It's a funny one because, it probably shouldn't be a stat, but I like that it is because it's points on the board for Supercoach and we love it. So there's that one. I was happy to let that one go through the keeper because I kind of thought, you know what, that's fine.
Fair enough.
But last night,
what got you?
He slams. Pardon?
What got you? Like, what's upset you?
Oh, this one got me a bit more because last night on Footy Classified, he went after Harry Sheasel, the other kicking distributor off halfback, and I can't remember specifically what he said, but he pretty much said that it was a waste of role having him as like a defender, like that sort of distributor, and I'm pretty sure they should be playing forward. Something like that about their coaching. Didn't quite listen to it specifically, but DR, could you imagine if like coaching department of North went, yeah, no worries, that's probably a good idea, and then we checked the Thursday night team lineups, and Sheaves was named in the 4 pocket. I mean, I'd be crying myself to sleep before I trade him out that week because I'm not copping Harry Sheasel, who's going to be 600k. Imagine him in the forward line. I mean. Kane, mate, I love your work. I'm a big fan of Kane, like devil's advocate of a lot of people that don't like him, but I quite like listening to him. I like that he's a little bit controversial. But this is our lane, DR. This is our Champion Data Supercoach. So Supercoach fantasy players, this is what we play, and he's in the media game. He's a tagger. He can stay in his lane. So, yeah, you leave stats alone, Kane. You let Champion Data take care of that. Thank you very much, sir.
And as a tagger, just naturally, he's against Supercoach scoring, isn't he?
It's just in him. He probably doesn't even know it either.
Yeah, bugger off, Kane. Just leave us
Yeah.
Supercoach players alone, mate. And as Spills said, stay in your own lane, mate. I love it, Spills. A nice random little rant, a little drive-by on the volcano. Well done, my friend. Very
Yeah.
impressive. Got a taste for it now. It feels good. It's refreshing.
Ooh,
It's cleansing, isn't it? When
does
you just
feel
get it off
good.
your chest,
Does feel good.
and you tend to feel a little bit better about yourself. So yeah, very well
I
done,
needed
mate.
that.
Very well done.
You can have it back yourself next week, but I just had to get that one off my chest as well.
We'll
I've been
see what
thinking
happens
about.
during the week, mate. We'll see what happens. Maybe you'll
Oh,
have
I
a bigger
doubt.
rant, depending on
I
what
mean,
Bevo does, potentially.
when does the coaching department listen to the media? Like, give us a spell. Never. I mean, North aren't putting cheese on the forward line, but Kane, leave him alone and far out. He's doing so well. I mean, piss off. Anyway, DR, enough rambling. It's time to get into the Supercoach side of things. It's time to talk about this week in particular. And look, there's a particular rookie that a lot are going early on, probably myself included, because I need to field a slot over Dacos. But going early on Sam Closey. So what do you reckon on this one, mate? Because like VFL numbers aren't too bad, but he broke out in his first game. He looked magnificent at halfback on the wing, got on the end of a goal, just absolute work rate. Talk to us about Closey, mate. What do you reckon?
Oh, extremely impressed, mate. Now, when and veteran players of Supercoach will know this, very, very, very dangerous to go early. Point in case last year, Blake Drury, for those that went early on him, absolutely burnt some people, and it's burnt me over the years as well. So I'll say straight off the bat that I never liked the idea of going early, and I would always avoid that where possible. However, Spills, there are special circumstances. And I think that this man this week is a bit of a special circumstance. Now, before we actually quickly talk about him as a player and his performance last week, what we've always got to look to do, mate, is look to what's coming up on the horizon. Now, we've got his teammate in Graham that will also be on the bubble next week as well. Who else knows who's going to have a really solid second game? There's a few players that will be coming up for selection on the bubble. So the issue is, if you potentially don't go early this week, maybe you won't do or be able to do what you really want to do next week, and you may have to double downgrade. I'm a big believer, if you can, in still trying to go one down, one up, wherever possible. So I think that this week could potentially be the play to go early on this fella. We're talking about a special type of circumstance here. Trouble is, with this big score, it's only going to be in his price system for the 1 week. He comes out next week, gives us a 40, then another 45. We make some good short-term coin, but after that, big scores out of his system, then, yeah, it's not going to be fantastic. But didn't he play a ripping game? We can see the stats just down the bottom here. I have cut and pasted this from AFL tables. Shout out to you, legends. Thank you very much. But 13 kicks, 9 handballs, so total of 22 possessions, 8 marks, one of those being contested, kicked a snag, which was absolutely lovely. Beautiful kick the football, 2 tackles, 3 rebound 50s, 7 contested possessions there, and also mentioned a contested mark. So I'd tell you what, mate, a lot to like about this bloke. Spent a lot of time on a wing, and in a minute, after another slide, we are going to talk about some future DPP players, and this man is currently on the list. So it's been confirmed he only needs to play 3 games in order to achieve DPP. And the amount of time that he actually spent on the wing, if that does continue going into the next couple of weeks, mate, he's going to get DPP as well. So how handy is that going to be, being a defensive mid DPP with blokes like McKercher, Roberts, possibly Nick Martin that we've got in our midfields, Dacos, depending on where you're running him. You've got Hayden Youngs if you're still owning him. It's going to be so handy to have that DPP. So I am a big fan of this fella. Damien Hardwick did speak about him after the game, said how impressed he was playing off that wing. So let's be honest, mate, when you've got blokes like Sexton that are vying for certain positions, and then you've got the next generation, these academy picks, and the blokes you know are really going to take this team forward into the future, you're going to play them, aren't you? So this bloke has absolutely, in my humble opinion, played his way into a short-term spot. And hey, we don't need these guys for the rest of the season. Doesn't matter how many other Gold Coast or GWS, whatever players you've got. We're going to trade this bloke before his next buy anyway. So I'm a big fan of this fella, mate. I just like the look of him. Seems like he's got some good footy IQ. His skills were pretty on point as well. And for a first game, just looks
very
super,
good.
super composed. So didn't panic too often. I'm just a huge fan of him, and I like going early simply because of the fact that it then gives you options next week. I think he's going to be that much of a must-have. And why wouldn't you select him unless he gets injured? Let's just say he even goes to 50 next week. Is that going to put you off from selecting him? For me, absolutely not, mate. Absolutely not. He'll still have an average of 75 at 102K with that big score for that first price rise. So that's enough for me. We've got two options here, mate. We can either fix a dead rookie if you've got Caulfield, Reed, who else we got there? Whoever you got down
Or
back, mate. Or if you're not going to be patient, yeah, absolutely,
Deepest.
mate. You
Yeah.
could go
Where do you
that way.
start? Draper.
Yeah. Oh, well, exactly, mate. They're just dropping pink, Toby Pink. They're
Pink.
dropping like flies, mate. Or
Yeah.
else the play that I'm potentially looking to make, and you'll see my trades a little bit later on, is do you get out of house? So his break even's coming up, I think it's mid-50s. He's got
Yeah.
this week, then the bye. So you may look to flip in the week after anyway, even if he scores an 80, which is going to be a really decent score. He's not making you too much, is he? So a play could be downgrade to closey this week from a house, bank that 100K, and then the week after, if you're keen on getting his teammate in or one of his teammates in, for example, you got that extra 100K in the bank to then hopefully go your one up, one down as well. So I'm a big fan of the pick, mate. Anything that I've missed, anything that you can add, or have you got a different opinion, mate? Do you think it's too risky going on this fella?
Nah, not at all. There's only one reason why you shouldn't go there. And maybe that's because there could be a little bit of constable PTSD. So obviously he
Oh,
plays for Gold Coast. He is number 33. He's that real defender mid rookie that we're sort of banking on. So, and yeah, Constable did burn me last year. Completely different player altogether. Played for Werribee last year, I want to say, who were in the grand final. So look, he's a good VFL player. So that to me, that's a good wrap to have on your resume. So I think he's going to be a sustainable player in that Gold Coast team. They had, I reckon, three debutants, and then they had Walter who had only played his second game. So
yeah,
out of all those three, I don't think Closey's the one that goes. I think like Graham even looked good as well. Graham's one I really want to get a second look at. He's one that I want to be thereabouts on the
absolutely.
bubble next week.
Yeah,
But if you miss
absolutely.
Closey this week, you're gonna have to go double down. If Graham is a must, you're gonna have to go down to both of them. So I don't like doing that. And I think the reason you want to go early on Closey, I know it's best 18, but it does cover up. Well, Nick Dacos is out this week, obviously, the bye. I have to field Toby Pink, who's not going to play, let's be honest. And if he does play, what are you gaining anyway? So there's an extra slot there that he's filling in for, which can only mean a better score because he's shown it on the weekend. Not that I think that a 108 is sustainable, but yeah, really good start. I'm pretty comfortable that he's going to be a good on-field option. Another reason is he's 102 KDR and he scored 108. I mean, getting this guy in your team is inevitable. Whether it's this week or next week, he's going to come in eventually. I don't mind the idea, though, of going Constable before Closey if you can plan for him next week. But
You want
you want to make
Constable in?
sure you actually get him because Constable looks really good. Like he's playing that intercept defense role. We know what he did, 129. I don't know if he's going to make money this week or the following. I'm not too sure. But yeah, that's the only real reason. Other than that, I mean, why wouldn't you go early DR? Like we got buyers, we got carnage in defense. What's going to go wrong? I mean, this is our knight in shining armor that we could have only dreamt of last week, and it's here.
True.
Let's grab him, mate. I'm not wasting any time. He's coming into my team, and I'm pretty sure I looked. It was like 29% of teams trading him in. So, yeah, I don't think I'm in the minority there. People are going to jump on. So, massive advocate for Closey as well. I think he's a great player, and I loved what I saw. So, yeah, really
Quickly,
promising
mate,
signs,
then,
mate.
before we go to the next slide, and I legitimately haven't really checked out any questions bar one before we go into the mailbag. But one question I've got for you, mate, is let's just say that you've got your two dead rookies. And when I say dead rookies, Reed's coming back probably soon. Hopefully Hall will as well, but we're not too sure. So let's just say that you've got Hall and Reed on your bench. And then you've got Howes at D6. You've got the option this week of fixing up a dead rookie or trading out Howes to Closey, making 100K. knowing that Howes will have the bye next week as well, and he's got a break even in the mid-50s, and he hasn't achieved a score like that in the last couple of weeks. If you had the choice, again, team dependent, but if that was your setup, would you prefer to fix a dead rookie now, or would you prefer to bank the money off Howes, knowing that you can probably field this guy for at least the next few weeks anyway? What's your preference, mate? The dead rookie, out you go, or getting rid of Howes and making some coin? What do you reckon, mate?
It depends if Howes is named or not. I mean, it's an easy fix for me because I'm trading out Sam Berry. So if Howes is dropped, then I just keep Berry for another week and then like get rid of Howes. But yeah, if I don't go Closey and Howes is dropped, there's 2 donuts in defense for me. So, and I
How
think I
about even
speak
if
for
he
many.
plays? How about if he plays? So he
I think
plays.
one more week. I
You'll
mean,
give him another week. Yeah, you're going to
yeah,
fix
I
the
got.
dead rookie, are you, mate?
I'd rather fix a dead rookie than trade Howes because at least he's playing. But if he's not, I mean, it's a very easy like 120K grab, so that's
Oh,
fine.
absolutely. If he's not
So
playing,
like,
see
why
you later,
wouldn't
mate.
you? But
Bye.
we
Coming
got
up.
one
Yeah.
more. Yeah, like Howes could come out and score 70 because he's done it before. Where Berry, in my like, he's a sub, so like definitely Berry over Howes, but that's team
Yeah.
dependent for me.
Yeah.
But I would fix a dead rookie before you fix Howes. And then next week, you can trade Howes because he's got his buy. So I think one more week of Howes because he's not going to lose much money, but he's not going to go up either. So I think on-field cover is fine. If he goes 70, that's a bonus, but it is best 18 DR. So I don't think it's too relevant. But yeah, I would much rather if I was going to get a donut there, I wouldn't be going Closey this week if Pink was a 60s average and was still in the team. But he
Fair
isn't, and he's not. So yeah, Dacos out. There's a donut at D6. Closey would fix that completely. So I'm gonna have
enough.
22
Mate.
on field this week because of that. So yeah, a bit of a long one there, but yeah, I definitely reckon you got to fix those dead rookies. So,
Beautiful,
yeah.
mate. It's an important discussion because, as you just mentioned, what the percentage of coaches are that are trading the bloke in. So a very relevant discussion, I think, mate. So very good.
But
We
hold
both
Reed
agree.
though.
Go early.
I'd keep Reed, like, because he will be back. And if you got
Yeah.
Hall and
Yep.
Pink, I would get rid of Pink on job security because I think Hall will be back eventually. Like Reed will be back and he's got good job security. But yeah, it's more Caulfield and Pink. If you got both of those, like you're in serious trouble. You gotta get rid of them. I mean, I don't think Pink will play for the rest of the year, so I'm a bit worried there.
Big
So
call. Yeah. Well, Combin,
yeah.
Combin
Well, Common just
made
looks so
sure
much
that in
better.
the
I
short
mean,
term he's taken that spot, eh? Yeah, I know more of
yeah,
an
there's
intercept
no.
type thing, but yeah, big body.
Yep. All right. No, I think we covered that really well. We'll have a few questions about Closey in the Q&A, the mailbag, but we covered it really well. But this is another big talking point. Won't spend a whole heap of time on this one, DR, but is Grundy in the garbage? I don't think he is because he's a premier ruck. We love what he can do, but he has the bye this week and he is the Ollie Wines of the ruck line. Put it in any other better context than that. You got to get rid
Love
of
it.
him. Like, what do
Love it.
you do? I mean, just cop a 90, 95 average at R2. You got to fix that up. Got the bye. You're really going to bleed. So I'm probably looking at trading him and then flipping Dogger into R2 because, yeah, Darcy back, but then they do have West Coast and Port Adelaide coming up. So I like that short term, and then I can assess it later. But this week, DR Grundy's got to go. What do you reckon? Do you agree?
Yeah, he's in the garbage for me, mate. Now, I'm not saying he's a must trade out. You can certainly keep on to him if you want, but you said it so well when you compared him to that Ollie Wines pick. It just seems like that, doesn't it, mate? He's just floating around. Now you don't
Just
see
nothing.
any disasters there. Maybe that's 71, pretty disappointing. But 139, 71, 99, 114, 93. I suppose it's funny. It's such a week by week game, isn't it? Sometimes, but after that Richmond game, I thought to myself, do you know what? I was pretty impressed with the way that he played, pretty consistent, quarter upon quarter. So, yeah, look, maybe there's a world. Coming up against West Coast, I was a little bit worried about having to make the decision to trade him out after a 130 plus type score. But pretty much after I saw that 93 against West Coast, I thought, come on, mate, this was your big opportunity to really impress me. To say, DR, Spills, everyone, basically everyone, it feels like at this point, keep me in your side, keep the faith. I'll be able to get up there with the big boys or close enough to make it worth you while keeping on to me. But against West Coast, made a 93. Not good enough for me, mate. I don't think.
I don't think
Where
it
are
is
those
either.
ceiling games going to come? You got the 139 against Gorn, and there could have been a number of reasons for that. At the end of the day, it didn't even count on our fields. It counted for his nice little early price rise, which wasn't a heap anyway. 16K, as you can see there. But for me, mate, that test against West Coast was, here's your chance to really impress me, force your way into my side for the next few weeks, keep you over your bye. But sorry, not for me at this point, mate. He's missing this week. We've got the opportunity to bring someone in that will score, so there's an extra premium in your side. Depends how you
It's a
feel about
waste of
best
money.
team. Yeah,
A lot of
well, look,
money.
he's
500K can get you, like, it can get you Sam Flanders this week. It can get you, who else? Who else in contention? It can get you English if you need him. If you want to go down, I mean, there's just so many
you
possibilities.
mentioned
Get you Nick Martin.
before about Dogger. That's a big player in this potential trade, because if you've got Dogger in your forward line, and it's risky because we know Shrek's come back, but if you want to go that way, get him in your rucks, as you were mentioning, mate. That way you can get a forward, you can use DPP to get a midfield. If you're lucky enough to have defensive, you can get a defender in. So really, Grundy opens up, if you've got the right DPP, potentially any line on the field.
It helps.
Yeah, exactly, mate.
It
You
can
may
get
be in
you
the
a Rowan, but if you got Dogger, it can patch it up. It's just a band-aid. It's gonna work for 2 weeks, I reckon, because of the opponents. Now, I want to bring up a point here, DR, just real quickly. But you said when Darcy comes back and affects Dogger against West Coast, like, yeah, being a ruckman, number one ruck is pretty good. But would you back Dogger at full forward against West Coast? I mean, fuck, he could kick a bag. I mean, just the ultimate split. Like, get down forward, kick 2 or 3 goals, and pinch it in the ruck. And I reckon he can score 150, even with Darcy in the team, because he's such a. I've been watching him really closely, obviously, because I'm an owner, but he's so good in the air. I mean, he just grabs him. He's just taken that next step in his game, and even up forward, I still think he can have a great impact and even be a keeper in the forward line for the rest of the season, regardless of Darcy being in the team. So I like him for now. We'll see. We'll assess it after these 2 matchups. And if it's not working, we've got luxury. We can jump off. He's 600K. It's going well. But if you don't have him, like, you have to get a ruck. Like, whether you find money for English, who's easily R1, or you can get him to Rowan, who I think is definitely a nice R3. But it just depends where you want to go. But me and you, mate, we're a little bit lucky in this scenario, but he's got to go. I reckon he does.
Agreed, mate. Agreed. And look, if you look at his projections there, and I think these are realistic projections, if you look at his score so far, 102, 97, 93, and a 113, I don't see why that's not fair and reasonable for what he's produced so far, mate. You're looking at him getting to really a peak there of 518K, and he's 507 at the moment. So I just think, as you said, a lot of Ollie Wines vibes about him. If he's not your biggest concern, that's fine. But I just think this is an opportunity to get another player in that you're a big fan of.
Waste of money.
Exactly, mate. I'm with you. In the garbage for me, mate. I think we pretty much both agree on that one, brother.
I agree. And thank God for DPP with Luke Jackson. And speaking of DPP, DR, we've got a list here of players who are pretty, I don't know if it's locked in that they get DPP, but I'm pretty sure it's very, very more than likely that they do. So let's go over the most relevant ones. We'll start from the top. I won't go into it too much because there's a fair few of them. Nick Martin, obviously, he's a huge one, isn't he? Because look at the carnage in defense. Wouldn't it be nice swinging him back just to get a Zach Williams or a D'Ambrosio or a Howes off the field? Like, just having that extra swing. I mean, so Nick Martin's got DPP. Common as well, mate. He's obviously taken Pink's role, a little bit more intercepts. His VFL numbers are really good. I spoke about him before. George, I think, is going to bring him in this week. Do you have anything that you want to add on Charlie Common?
Yeah, I'll certainly talk about him in the stocky, mate. But what I like about this is forward defensive DPP. That can be super handy. I've had a lot of that over the years. I think it was like your Zeeble, Sheasel swings.
It's one of the most underrated DPP, that.
I love that DPP.
Defender.
I love that DPP, mate. So forward defense, and if he can continue to produce something close to what he did last week, get my side, son. But he's one that I want to wait the week on. And again, comes back to potentially going early on Closey this week to give yourself the option to maybe watch Comben again. But for defensive status, I love that from Mr. Charlie, mate.
Yep. Bonner's going to get it as well. Really handy. He's been a bit of a burn man, but did respond in fine fashion on the weekend.
Yep. Mid defense as
Amon,
well.
you got Amon. I would have got rid of Amon a while ago now. He's just such a mediocre one, so he'll get it. Matty Roberts, he's really handy as well because,
Massive.
there's a few that are going to get it. They're just going to fix a lot down back. So I just can't wait for that. So Roberts, Fisher, DR, if you held Fisher, I don't know why you would, but yeah, you got people can't ask me for that one because there's 40%. I jumped off, mate. I don't know what he's been scoring. I've been keeping tabs on him, but if you waited this long, then hopefully that'll be worth it. Colin McKercher, I don't know.
That's nice.
That's nice. I'll keep holding him. I think he's a nice one in defence. If he didn't get DPP, he'd be one that I'd almost be willing to trade up towards his buy.
Fair enough, man. Yeah.
Because of the lack of defenders, I think he's just nice cover, but got a few moves in defence planning. We'll see. Nothing really relevant. Buku, really good rookie if you picked him up. Definitely
that's big, mate. That's big. Like you've got like Buku that now matches up with your Charlie Comben, for example, with your Fisher.
If you picked up both of them.
Fisher. Yeah.
How about we give some advice, DR? Like if you have Buku on your side, I'd plan for Comben this week and Closey for next week. Would you go with that? Because that's a really nice swing, isn't it? That's going to help over the buys.
I love it. I love the swing, and I think Buku's got really good job security. I think he's been playing really well lately. Another man that Champion Data ripped off slightly, I think, on the weekend, mate. I'm not an owner, but that's going to be a huge positive to this pick. As we both mentioned, we love the forward defensive DPP. We end the forward defensive DPP with Callum Jamieson, who I don't think is going to be too relevant, but the man under him, Spills, I think will be relevant. We've all got the man Rolly Sanders, don't we?
Sanders could come in and be that sort of Ollie Dempsey in the forward line and just cover, like stop you from fielding a Cadman or a Berry or like just someone a little bit dicey like I have to. So that's I don't know, are these confirmed? Is this going to happen or is this just estimated?
I don't know. I was going to give the share out to the end. I'll quickly do this now because as you can see, I've got his Twitter handle there. The great Jaden Popowski. This man is elite. Now, you couldn't get access to this. So this great man said, you know what? I'll do some research for the community. You can see they're compiled by Jaden using Champion Data's position classification on afl.com.au. So I'm not going to say these are 100% locked in, mate. Some certainly are, like Nick Martins, for example. But there are others that are still on the cusp at the moment. So not locked in, but players that are looking likely at this stage anyway, or at least have a pretty fair chance.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the next 20 players here are relevant. Forgive me, but I'm going to skip all the way down to the DPP that I hope we get the most. But Sam Darcy, wouldn't it be nice if he got ruck DPP? A bit frustrating because that DPP won't come until after Gawn's bye. So how good would that be? Like flipping Livingstone down and having Darcy come on for Max Gawn. Not going to happen. I think it's a week after, which is just such a pain in the ass if it does happen. But, mate, what a blessing that would be.
Absolutely, mate.
All in all, I really do hope Sam Darcy gets it. That would be mint because he has been rucking a lot. And, look, I'll be honest, I think Blitzarves gave him a little bit of a lesson on the weekend at times. But still, he's getting ruck time and it's good for Supercoach. So, hopefully he gets that DPP. Next up, we got our, dare I say it, DR, not only our F1, but our M1. We got M1 here, Isaac Heaney. So, obviously,
Brownlow medalist,
the
M1, sexiest man alive. You've got your little egg that I can't believe that egg's not shattered from an accidental drop from the shake. You must have had a very firm grip. You got the egg there as well. Look at you go, mate. Look at you go. Oh, we're all dreaming of him, mate. And
sleep with it under my pillow. That wouldn't be that comfortable, but I thought about it. It's like a dream catcher. People have dream catchers on top of their bed. I've got my Heaney sacrifice egg So
Love it, my friend.
him my good fortune. But yes, mate, Heaney will be probably M1. So yeah, rightly earns mid DPP, deserves to be a midfielder. We've asked for so many years and it's happened. So super happy with that. Hayden Young, defender mid. Well done if you hung on to him. We'll talk about him probably in the mailbag because he's 519k, I think, at the moment. So very fair and reasonable price to bring in. So he'll get DPP. Powell, obviously, Closey, which would be such a nice swing with Nick Martin, Nick
Yeah, we should have
Dacos,
mentioned
like
that
perfect.
before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dempsey, perfect for me. I'm an owner, so I'm happy with that. Massimo will get it. Won't be in my team, I don't think, by the time he does. But yeah, he's one that's probably going to get playing a lot of wing time. So obviously,
yeah.
There's not really much else. Harvey Gallagher will get it. Yeah, Bendigo boy. I actually know Harvey Gallagher. I played Sandhurst with him in the Bendigo League a couple of years ago.
Very
He was
nice.
just a young fellow in the 18s. Absolute champion. He's a great player. Super underrated. Just battled with glandular fever and a series of injuries. So, yeah, good to see him work his way into the team. But that ship sailed, DR. He's too expensive for my liking. I think we've covered them all. Like, anyway, if there's anything else that you want to add, mate.
No, mate, I think Cam McKenzie's probably on the other one there if you're one of the few people that own him. But again, yeah, not confirmed these, mate, but all very, very likely. And it has been confirmed by Tim Michelle himself that it's 3 games that are needed for this DPP. So lots of blokes already locked in, but a few that we're sort of crossing our fingers with at the moment, buddy. But yeah, thought that was important just for people to make some potential future plans. Because if you're trading in Nick Martin this week, for example, the way that you may be looking at it, because he's locked in, you're actually trading in a defender into your midfield that's really just on loan for 2 weeks in your mids, and then into the defense you go. So this is going to be really relevant for us, mate. And new DPP opens up more options for us, easier trading. Love it, mate. Cannot wait for it. And I think a really good initiative from Supercoach as well. And sorry, last one. I have had a couple of questions about this. You cannot get TPP, triple DPP. So if a player's already got DPP, for example, Sam Flanders is a mid forward. Now that he's playing off half back, he cannot now get defensive status.
Won't get it.
Yeah, you
imagine if he did.
Oh, that would just.
I reckon they'll change that rule one day, possibly.
That'd be sick, wouldn't it? That'd be awesome. But yeah, throw something a little bit different in there anyway, buddy. But yeah, I reckon that's quick little coverage of the DPPs, man.
Great work from Jaden here as well. Fantastic stuff. And DPP, can't come soon enough for me. I mean, I need it that bad. I'm donuts on the bench. I just need to fix it. So that'll be a very, very exciting day in Supercoach. So I think we covered our area of Supercoach, the individual stuff, and we've covered most of the things really well. But let's cover everyone else and move straight into our mailbag and answer everyone's questions that you've been waiting for. Here's the time. And we've got our beanie here, DR. You've put the beanie as the photo. Do you want to quickly elaborate on that? Give us a bit of a merch
We've got the
update.
beanie here. We've got it here on the screen. Everything's all paid for, organised, mate. It's just not here at the moment. So we have been waiting a fair while in the post. I'm not panicking yet. Everything's all good. But yeah, everything's ready to rock and roll, mate. They are ordered here, made, on the way. It's just when the courier is going to come. So Australia Post or whoever you are, I may have given a drive-by to Australia Post and it's not them, but whoever you are in the delivery game, lift your game, please, because
or did
I cannot wait for one of these on my head.
Or DR need to pay for Express? What do we reckon? Express postage, or does Ozpost just need to lift their game?
Well, it was meant to be bloody 5
comment
to 7
down below.
Like it's doubled that already, man. But I've been told,
I know,
reassured. But I tell you what, frustrating. But mate, they're going to be elite.
It's gonna be worth it.
Cannot wait, mate. Cannot wait. The website, as soon as they come, then the website's up and running as well, mate. So very, very exciting, mate. But even more excited to answer these questions this week, brother. Look at the first man that we've got here. Wonder who this is.
Look, this last week gave us the biggest question. I call it DR would know. I call it giving us homework. He's given us homework. Might have always been super basic. I remember last time I missed a podcast, I didn't even put anything in the questions, but then there was a time before that where I just said something like funny. But this is just real. This is a bloke that takes his role on the podcast very, very seriously, maybe more seriously
Absolutely.
than I. Maybe I need to
Yeah.
step up my game. But yeah, third man up, Janath. Hey, legends. Look, mate, first of all, hope you're having a great time in Europe and you're having a bloody absolute red hot time. I'd love to go to Amsterdam. That's one of my favorite countries in Europe. So that'd be
Oh, we got to
unbelievable.
go, man. Imagine
I
the
hope you're having
carnage.
fun there. Some
Bring
real
drinks
nice
along.
cafes there, DR, as well. So hopefully he's having
Absolutely.
fun and dabbling in. Hey, legends. Keen to be back on the potty next week. Keen, where we miss you, mate. My trade conundrum for this week, no Luke Jackson to move to R2. This is the beauty of having him, DR. You've got
That's
that
right.
trick up your sleeve.
That's right.
So he's got a few bloody options here, mate.
Yeah, there's 3 options here, has he?
We have to make
All
another
right.
video over this specific question. So number
Yeah.
one, how's Grundy to Closey Marshall? So I don't mind that.
Yep.
D'Ambrosio, Grundy, Closey, and English as well. And D'Ambrosio. So he's looking to get rid of D'Ambrosio relatively early. And Jordan to Closey, Nick Martin. Oh, it's tough.
All right.
Oh,
Well,
so
let's Spills.
I don't know.
He says he's willing to swallow his ego and bring Martin back. We'll talk about our trades in a little bit as well, but would ideally like to hold on to Massimo for the North Melbourne matchup in round 6. So ideally he wants to hold on to Massimo. Let's have a look at the first trade. You've got Howes and Grundy to Closey and Marshall. I don't mind Closey coming in for Howes. We talked about that before. You're a little bit different, but it's still okay. You prefer a bench option, but still okay with Howes. And Grundy to Marshall, I've got zero problems with that because I think Marshall's clearly going to be in the top 3 rucks this year. D'Ambrosio and Grundy to close in English. Well, let's be honest, mate. If I honestly had the choice and you asked me, would you rather Marshall English for the whole year? It's so hard to go past Tim English for me, just with his history. And we know what his ceiling's like, although Marshall's going to be a top ruck. It's a hard one, mate. He says if Comgan and Graham are good again this week, then a double downgrade third boost may be needed to be used next week. And he says cheers for clearing up Steele versus Took last week. We can pat ourselves on the back, as I mentioned before, with that one Spills.
Absolutely. We smashed it.
Do you know what, mate? I'm going to, because you have to go with something here. It's tough. I'm going to go with number 1 because...
Yeah, same. Same here,
100%. I'm happy with Howes to close here, making money. And even though you're missing out on English...
He's so expensive there.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
I think Howes is a bigger problem than D'Ambrosio this week.
Yeah, exactly right.
Marshall's a good pick. And Nick Martin's not going to go up too much. You can get him next week if you want. You might pay an extra 20 or 30K max, but at least you don't have to stuff up your whole structure to do it. So not necessarily your structure, but I think D'Ambrosio is a bit more meat on the bones. And English, I mean, high break even. He's 700K still. So I just don't think English is ready to come in. I've thought about it. And it is tempting, but I think Rowan is a very sensible option. And I don't think you're going to get him any cheaper, man. I mean, after that howler he had the previous week, bounce back.
He made up
and
for it, didn't he?
Now's a better time to jump on Rowan.
Mm.
Really like him as a pod. I would pick Rowan if I didn't have Dogger.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, good advice. Well, the only thing that I will say, and I don't know the reason for this, and I need to, hopefully someone's got the answer out there, and please drop it in the comments if you are listening. But Massimo spent over 20 minutes on the bench in that last quarter, man. Like,
yeah, what? That's so weird.
I wonder why. Like, I don't know. There's probably a reason and answer, and I hope that I can find it. But that would be the only concern. But given the fact, brother, that you want to keep on to Massimo, I think the first trade is fine. So, cheers,
still
brother.
Scored 70 DR, Massimo, for all that time on the bench. So, look, points per minute's pretty good for that position, and it's a very valuable position as well. I think he's quite accountable in defence. I think Massimo in defence is really important, and Williams as well, before DPP. But once we get Martin, Roberts, McKercher, they can all piss off. But for now, we just got to hold him, mate. We have to. Maybe D'Ambrosio next week, because he does have a pretty dodgy break even. But, yeah, I'd be doing number 1, brother. Personally, I agree with you there, DR. Great minds think alike.
Beautiful, mate. All right, have a good time, brother. Catch you soon. Spilsy, do you want to take over here, mate? And
yeah, I can.
Duke's asking?
If you want me to. I'm not as good as a reader as you are, but I'll have a crack and yeah, should be good. So we got the Duke. He's a real regular. I swear he comments. He has mail posted in this segment every week. How are you, Dukey? Anyway, hey fellas, sorry about asking this kind of question. I'm gonna be without internet for the next week or two on holiday. I hope you have a good holiday, man. I still haven't decided what I should do. That's a killer. Hopefully you get on top of that and get someone else to manage your team. I'm happy to trade any of Kirch, Massimo, Howes, Lazaro, maybe Grundy, and would like Steele. I'd say straight off the bat, keep the first two. We did discuss Howes. Lazaro, 100% get rid of him. He's got to go. Unless he does get named, but I doubt he will. Surprised he got dropped, DR. That got me off guard. I nearly missed lockout completely.
Unlucky, sir.
So,
unlucky.
Yeah. So,
look, the first suggestion I'll make is I'm happy to get Howes out. So I'd even say look at your Howes to Closey there. Grundy, Lazaro, very, very happy to get out as well. Does Howes, depending on what your bank is, Drew, because you actually haven't got your bank here, mate, if you can just go something as simple as Howes down to Closey, and then maybe your Grundy up to your English or your Rowan.
On that photo, DR, on the first photo? No. I thought he might have. Yeah, okay.
No bank there. No bank there. We can't see it.
You need to see that information. It's not a bad thing, though.
Yeah, Lazaro is the one that you'd probably like to trade out anyone there.
The play for me last week was Lazaro to Dempsey, and it worked short term.
Yeah, nice, mate. Yeah.
So
I'll tell you what, Dukey, send us a DM, brother. Send us a DM and we'll discuss this in more detail anyway, buddy. But yeah, have a great time on your holiday, mate.
It's hard to comment on that one because we don't know his cash.
Yes, that's the big point. Even comment with your cash, Duke, and we'll get back to you. Cheers, brother.
Andrew, g'day, mate. How you doing? G'day, legends. I'm trading Howes to Closey this week for cash gen. Yep, unreal, good stuff. However, I'm unable to upgrade Jordan to a premium except Yo, but we know how injury prone he is. I would go Yo now. I think there's just I know there's better options at that price, but like it's just a bit of a. I feel like you had to start him type thing. But anyway, should I use a third boost such as Sexton, Windsor to get extra cash and upgrade Jordan? Very quick answer here, DR, and yes, you should, because Sexton is probably a dead rookie. I mean, look how many rookies Gold Coast had come into the team, like Closey and Graham, and play a crucial role. Where is Sexton needed? And he's nearly 200K, so you kind of get a bit of cash off it. Like, not much, like 80K. So, yeah, get rid of Sexton if it gets you a premium. If it gets you Steele, 100%, mate, you'll be doing yourself a favour, because there's nothing worse than that dead rookie spot, not only in defence with all the rookies that we discussed, DR, but in the forward line as well. There's some good forward rookies. So I think you need to lash out on a boost, and I would say that, mate, because I'm going to be using my fourth boost this week. Unbelievable stuff. Absolutely absurd.
A little bit of a preview for your trade, so I'm very much looking forward to that, Spilsy, when we talk about that. But, look, mate, for me, I'm very biased against Elliot Yeo, so I'm probably not the best person to ask about Elliot Yeo because I just don't really care what he scores. I'm just not willing to trade him in with his durability issues, particularly at this stage, mate, since he's actually gone up. Now, I know he's in the short term, he's looking to go up cash. I love his role. I love what he's doing at the moment, but just him with his durability history, man, like trading into him at this point, I really don't like. Look, I don't love the fact that we're using a third boost here, although I have already, my friend, but I think in order to upgrade Jordan, I would not be going up to a Yo type. I'd be going someone that you just know is going to be a really, really solid pick, mate. So I'd actually use that boost. Exactly. I agree with Spills. I don't think Sexton's doing anything for us at the moment with the upcoming buys. I'm sure you have a loot for the next couple of weeks anyway, mate. And then we may have more dead rookies on the horizon. Hopefully not, but you never know. So I would actually do that. And Jordan has to go, mate, because he's got the buy this week. And then his break-evens, I think, in the 80s. So definitely get rid of Jordan, mate. I much rather prefer an out-and-out premium rather than going to someone like a Yo. I don't like it. I think the boost is actually worth that. And very quickly, Dukey up the top, just missed this one, mate. Thoughts on rookies outside of Closey, who's the best to pick? Check out the stock market video, mate. All rookies will be there. And I'll have a few rule breakers talking about the Gold Coast players they've only played the one game. So, yeah, thanks, Andrew. Andrew's an absolute legend, mate. Great supporter of the channel. Always leaving some terrific questions. But, yeah, we're both saying, Andy, use your boost, mate, and bring someone a lot more safer in. Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if Yo goes another 120 this week, but it's what happens a week after when he gets injured early and gives you 20.
I can't live in stress knowing that he could go down like anytime.
Yeah, isn't it? It's a stressful pick for your own well-being, maybe, Andy. Just maybe stay away. But if you go there, man, good luck. All the best, buddy. Thanks, man.
Supercoach mates, absolute legends, these blokes.
Hey,
I remember we
boys.
did what about a couple of years ago now, we did a draft with them, and it was a lot of fun. I don't know if you were a part of that, DR, but yeah, these are really good boys.
Good fellas.
I know they're
Yeah,
stuff,
good on you, fellas.
I think they'll back themselves in, but we're here to help as well. Hey, fellas, hope you're well. We are. And keep up the great work with the potty. A few trade options tossing up at the moment. Appreciate the kind words, mate. Jordan, Grundy for Closey, Marshall. Pretty stock standard, that one. I think straight off the bat, I'd say,
week,
you can't go wrong with that. But
Yeah.
there are some other ones there. Jordan, Grundy to Closey, English. If you can get English, like in 2 trades, the second one looks really good. Same as 1, 2, but also boost Howes to Sharp. And then Jordan, Grundy, and Howes for Nick Martin, Meek, and Closey. I do like Nick Martin, but I'm going to have to say, if you can get English in 2 trades, like the same as Marshall, you must have some cash in the bank. I would, because I think he's going to be R1. I don't like the idea of jumping on Sharp now. He looks really good, but I just feel like the ship's sort of sailed, DR. It's kind of like jumping on Dempsey this week for like nearly 300K. I just don't know. Maybe, but it's probably not worth it now. Had to do it last week. I'm going to say number 2 if you can get it done, but I like Marshall as well.
Yeah, it's 1 or 2 clearly for me. I do not like number 3 at all. Boosting for Sharp, just not for me, brother. And the 4th one, if you're boosting and bring in someone like a Meek, I just think, man, that could be asking for trouble, dude. And if look, in my opinion, if you're boosting, you're either getting 2 must-have rookies and then an out-and-out premium, or else you're downgrading to your closing and then getting your 2 out-and-out premiums for me, man. So I'm with Spillsy, and I prefer, if cash isn't a problem or whatever, English over Marshall at the end of the day. So I am pretty much clearly with you, Spills. Number 2 for me, my friend. But if you can use the money that you save on going Marshall over English in a really beneficial way, then I'm more than happy with 1 also. But we're both going 2 there, boys. Good luck. All the best. Thanks, mate.
Absolutely, mate. I think you've covered this next question really well. Jack Jones, how are you, Jackie boy? Is Lazaro to Sharp worth a boost this week? Slab made to make him provides on-field scoring. DR just answered this 20 seconds ago. No, don't do it. It's not worth it. You may as well sideways trade Libber to Butters. I mean, who would do that, DR? I wonder. But I just don't think it's worth it at all. So
can I just can I just say, mate, as well, just very quickly on Jeremy Sharp, and this may be just me during the time that I was watching, because this weekend, I don't know if you heard me remember, I was just in and out all the time. So literally when I was watching the footy, it may have been like 10 minutes here and there, just sort of coming back. But when I was watching the Freo game, it just seemed like, and it may have been just for this point in time, for like a 15-minute period, that ball just lived on the wing. And Sharp was getting involved in everything. The poor other winger, whoever it was on the fat top, was just nowhere near the ball. But Sharp was just involved heavily. I don't think, I'm going to make a call now, that he won't score as well as that for the rest of the season. I don't think he goes above that for the rest of the
year. I think that was a very out of the blue. Probably a year or 2 off scoring another 100, I think, in that role.
Everything was going right, dude. That goal that he scored on a crucial moment, like good scaling from that.
Not
like
sustainable way to score, like luck.
Like, would you, all right, the question I'd ask, would anyone be really surprised to see him punch out a 50 score? I wouldn't be personally.
No, not at all.
Is that realistic? I think it is for a wingman. Yeah, I think that's realistic. If it's just not your day, if the ball's not out there, we're going corridor, other side of the ground, whatever. I just wouldn't. I don't. If you really, really want to go there and trade him in, go for it. But boost, nah, not for me. Not for me. Just personal anyway, Jackie. But all the best of luck, brother. Thanks for the question, man.
Dan Kryman, how are you, mate? Lads, jumping on Gorn this week. as one more price rise puts him out of reach, it sure bloody does, mate. I was never not starting with Gorn. I almost did, and I'm bloody happy I did. I jumped on, mate. You got to get him. And PS, do you have a link to buy merch? We will very soon. We're just waiting. Obviously, we touched on that before. I'm waiting for the merch to roll up, and then we'll get that firing ASAP, mate. But to answer your question, now or never. If you want Gorn this week against McInerney, DR, would Gorn do against McInerney last year, mate? Do you want to give us a little quick recap?
A quick recap. Well, this
really
was
quick.
actually the game where Causa, the ladies' man Blackledge, was actually getting harassed by all the women, mate. This is where the name. This is the origin.
He's a bad man though. Once he gets going,
he's just he's an absolute animal. He's Causa, mate. Just an absolute slayer is our friend there. But we'll leave that those stories for another day. Who knows what he got up to in Adelaide and gather around, mate? Like seriously, look out, ladies. But in this game, mate, it was it's so hard. I was a Max Gorn owner, and he was a real pod at the time. No one really had him, and he was playing the Lions. We looked like we had the game absolutely iced, and then he just decided to have his best game in a very, very long time, 200-plus score, and he dominated. What's that?
215. He went 215.
Well, there you go. Sure. 215, if you don't mind. He dominated Spills in every single facet of this game.
Fault in his game. 29 touches, a goal, intercepts, contested marks. There's just nothing.
Man, yeah.
And that were effective.
And look at what Cherry did on Big O last week as well, dude, which we need to remember as well. So the frustrating thing is, Dan, is that he's coming up for a bye, but you're right. Look, just get him in this week, mate. You will feel so much better having him in your side, and it's such a tough watch as well. Mate, thank you so much for the interest in the merch. I've had a fair few DMs about that because Spills, this was meant to be organised a month ago. It's out of our hands. It's like, we've tried to do the right thing and get organised early here, but it's just out of our hands. But we appreciate that. And can I say, Dan, as well, Spills, an absolute legend of the community. I've been chatting with Dan on a few DMs and all that. And you're an absolute legend, mate. I hope everything is going well and looking forward to catching up for a cold one at some stage, brother. But get Maxi in, my friend. Get Maxi in, and all the best, legend. Hope you're all, Dan. Cheers, man.
Crazy Frogs. What a legend this bloke is.
Jules, he's an Adelaide boy as well. So he would have been smashing it up at Gather Round as well. And we'll be up there next year, Spills, with Jules and all the boys. Let me guarantee you that, mate.
We would go wild up there, DR. I think people wouldn't know what hit him, but myself and you, we would just bloody send it, I reckon, up at Gather Round.
It'd be carnage, but in a good way.
Genuine footy festival, I'll tell you that. But
100%.
Crazy Frogs, absolute legend. How are you, man? Hey, friends. Do you think Rankin or Hogan can be top 6 forward? I'm keen to hold them, even if they start leaking some cash. Hogan leading the Coleman, and Rankin may get more CBAs. Cheers, legends. Rankin, no. Hogan, yes, but there will be. Yeah, really? Okay. You summed it up really well. There's going to be some inconsistency in his scoring. I'm pretty sure he's top 5 now, DR, but had a really easy run. But you're going to get 60s and 70s as well as your 120, 130 pluses. So if you're happy with the fault games, so be it. Me personally, I wouldn't. I would rather like a Dempsey Darcy at that spot and just leave it as it is. And that, like Reed, just have rookies and then make them my last priority upgrades. And then later on in the year, bring in a Kerno or Mackay if they had a really easy run. That's another story. But I'm not a big fan of it. But I think Hogan is top 6 if I had to answer your question. But yeah, there's going to be some inconsistent scoring. And I can't give you a big enough read on Rankin. Like I haven't really considered him. I don't think he's really up there. DR, anything you want to add on Rankin? But I'd probably say.
I'm just looking here, mate, at the top 6 averages. You're right. So Charlie Combin's here. I'll mention him anyway. So we'll go the top 7. So you've got Heaney, Combin, Dogger, Flanders, and then you get on to the couple of key forwards in McKay and Jesse Hogan. And then you got Dane Zorko. So if you take Combin out, I know that's one really good game, but really he's not going to average 129, so we know that. So let's just say Heaney, Dogger, Flanders. Heaney and Flanders absolute locks. We'll see what happens with Dogger, but still very high chance. Do you know what? I see a world. You've got Tom Powell that's there. There's been a little bit of talk to Horn Francis potentially get DPP. You've got a Taylor Adams. You've got a Shy Bolton, who, if he plays more midfield time, mate, he's certainly got a chance if he can raise that
floor games are
mid
just
minutes.
as bad as any key forward in the comp. It's tough. You got to get on really cheap after their floor games, I think. But
Yeah,
Hogan, I think
absolutely.
Hogan's fine. If you want to hold him for the
probably
rest of the
can.
year, if
Look
you
at the
can loop him every week, maybe
yeah,
loop
like
him.
it's
If you've got a Dempsey or something, you could loop him with Dempsey, especially if he plays first. If he plays shit house, like let's say he scores a 60 or 70, I'd definitely feel Dempsey over that because I think Dempsey's an 80s and 90s man even. But
you know,
you can get that real high ceiling score. So if you can loop Hogan every week, I don't mind that straight either.
yeah. Do you know what? For someone like a Rankin in particular, I think that your combins of the world could average close enough, and I'm not saying the same,
Yeah.
but close enough
I reckon.
to
Yeah.
bank coin, man, to bank coin. And with
Possibly.
the money you'll save, you'll be able to use it and gain so many more points elsewhere. Um, Look, can they be a top 6 forward with the dodgy names that we've got there this year, mate? There is a possibility, but I'm not overly keen on Rankin in particular. Saligo's played
Yeah.
really well. If they change things up in the midfield and give him more opportunity, he could be. But as things currently stand, I don't
To
think
me,
so. But
mouse to
there's a
feed.
chance.
And
I'd
the
be
Crows
moving Rankin
don't
on.
look that
Put it
great
that way.
either.
Yeah, yeah. I think we both agree on that one, man. But yeah, Crazy Frogs, Jules, all the best, mate. We know you love your pods and trust your gut, but we're probably a little bit keener on Hogan than Rankin.
Yeah.
I think, mate.
If
If
I'd
you need
pick,
to
I'd
choose.
pick Hogan if I had to.
Yeah,
Over
sweet. Oh,
two.
here we go.
Hello,
Legend,
mate.
number 1 legend. Here we go.
G'day, Cutter. How are you, mate? Hey, gents. Not a Supercoach question this week, but I have a question. Can you please DM me details about purchasing a beanie? He looks great. Thanks, mate. They do look great. We did touch on that before. They're in transit, mate. They're coming. They'll be here soon. I can't wait, D. I'm super excited. My eldest boy plays footy Saturday mornings, and I need to keep my head warm. Cheers, Cutter. Great suggestion. Hopefully, DR, these beanies are here before the thick of winter in football. But yeah, appreciate the kind words. And yeah, the merch will be
Absolutely.
full. Yeah, I think we're going to sell out very quickly. We've got a few demands early days for orders. So we might have to
Scopes as well,
reorganize
mate.
straight after that.
Scopes
But
is
yeah,
hitting you up.
not long now, mate. Not long.
Yeah,
They're in transit.
absolutely. And Kata, yeah, just a shout out to you again, mate. We say this every week, but such
Great
a
bloke.
massive part of the swordplay community, mate. You got to come on one time as a special guest. We have to absolutely get you on.
Yeah,
And
community
a
one.
shout out to your eldest fella as well, mate. Hope he absolutely smashes it this year. Kicks a couple of sausage rolls as well for the old man and for the swordplay crew. Keep us in touch, mate. Let us know how the young fella's going because I would love to give him a shout out from time to time and yeah, give him some encouragement and yeah, great to see the young fellas going well, buddy. Good on you, Kata, and thanks for the support. The merch is coming. It's literally coming, mate. It's but yeah, I'll let you know. Cheers, legend. Appreciate that, man.
Good stuff. We got the Rain Man, another regular of
Great
the
bloke. Ripping fella.
yeah. Good fella, this bloke. Lads, we had 4 first gamers, pop good scores last week. Closey, Common, Graham, and Ramsden. Do we look at nabbing 2 this week? The chance that become viable in the bubble or bubble boys next week. I don't really want to use a boost to downgrade next week, but want to keep the cash gen coming. I reckon, like we've discussed it, we've covered it really well. I would leave Graham and Ramsden, particularly Ramsden. I just don't know. I think Meek's dominating the ruck and Hawthorn tall full forward. Don't like it. Graham, he's one that I want to watch because didn't set the world on fire. But I think if he can back it up, perfect one to grab on the bubble. We're closey, you know what you're getting, and the same with Common. So if you're happy to pay up for both of those two, I would go for it. 102K, and then I think 227K for Common, something like that. So yeah, the first 2 quite comfortably, mate. Pretty easy answer to the question. I don't have to go into it too much more than that, unless you want to add anything else, DR.
Yeah, well, I agree with you, mate. If you're going 2 out of the 4, I think the safest probably 2 are your Closey and Comden. They're the 2 that I'd potentially do it for, mate. I agree with Spills. I wouldn't go with Graham just quite yet. Don't know
Want
about
one
his
more
stock.
week. Graham.
potential sub risk even. Ramsden, I don't know a heap about. I'll be quite honest, mate. Maybe Steve from SDS, mate. If you can maybe help us out there, and we'll have a chat with this absolute legend who is Rain Man. So we can give you a bit better advice there, mate. Because I'd probably be guessing on Ramsden, to be quite honest, mate. And I'd hate to give you the wrong advice there. Is it okay to go too early? Look, you're a veteran, mate. You are such a good coach yourself. I don't need to tell you the risks of going early on 2 players, but let's be honest, with the performance that Comden put out on the weekend,
Was good. He'll be fine. He won't get dropped.
Yeah, that's right. The Pink put out the week before. Surely he keeps his spot. The only thing I will say is I don't think his durability history is fantastic, which is a little bit of a risk, but surely he gets through another week, mate. And
you'll make plenty of money in the short term for it to be worth it if that does happen. And nothing I'll quickly add to before we move on to the next question. I don't think Closey is a sub risk. I think he did more than enough.
Yeah.
I think Graham is a sub risk because they subbed out Bailey Humphrey, who's a very good player.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Similar roles as well.
Very similar roles. That sort of, that Bailey Humphrey's a mid forward where
good points, Billsy.
Graham's a defender mid, but they both pinch in the midfield. So, I'd watch this space. Do not go early on Graham. But, Closey, we've seen enough. Good stuff, Ray, man. Hopefully you go well next week. Here's H, big member of DR's channel. A legend. Hope you're doing very, very well. G'day, DR and Spills. Need to decide on 2 out of Flanders, Merritt and English. Also, if Darcy is named this week, is it time to trade Dogger? Cheers. I reckon Flanders is the biggest priority out of these ones because he's just so highly owned and he's making me pay every single week. I like Merritt a lot more. I think he's a freak. But Sam Flanders, everyone's got him, and he just keeps slapping out 120 pluses, and it's got a lot to do with why my rank's going down a little bit because I don't own him. So I think you got to prioritise for Flanders, and he's cheap too. DR, he's still really, really cheap for what he should be priced at. Not averaging too much little. I think he's only about 5 to 10 points, maybe 7 or 8. I don't know specifically less than Merritt, but for over 100k cheaper, nearly 150k cheaper almost. I mean, it's crazy stuff. So Flanders for sure, mate. And then if you can plan for Merritt or English next week, that would be ideal. But Flanders a huge priority. Just got to get him in your forward line. What do you reckon, DR?
Well, the good thing that I will say, H, is that you're not looking at, any questionable type picks. The 3 blokes you're looking at here are all elite in their own right. Like Flanders is a lock for, let's just say, top 3 forward average. English is a lock to be in the top 3 rucks. And at this stage, in this point in time, and if we look at his upcoming fixture, Merritt should be an absolute lock to finish in the top 8 midfielders, mate. So you're looking at some really, really nice options. I'm almost with Spills. I think that Flanders is at a really friendly price at the moment. You will really want to jump on the other 2 at some stage. I think all 3 Spills. Now, I'm not going to say must-haves, but could be very, very close to must-haves. So I'm probably going the cheapest at the moment with Flanders. Another thing, Spills, it depends on how you feel about Flanders' role. Do you like it more? Do you like it less? Do you think there are maybe some more question marks?
It's sort of irrelevant. I think he's going to score well either way, and he's definitely going to be F2 behind one Isaac Heaney. I wouldn't worry too much about that because he still scored 125. He's going to rack it up wherever he goes.
He's saying 2, though. So we're going Flanders. So let's lock in Flanders for H. Now it's Merritt and English. Like,
probably Merritt, I reckon. It's tough. Does he have Dogger? No, hang on. Yeah,
well, it says here, also if Darcy's name this week, is it time to trade Dogger? What I mentioned, H, with this is the fact that if you believe that his best is over and you want to trade him at his highest price point, then go for it. But I still think it's fine for the next couple of weeks. Just get the eye test with Shrek. But he may potentially lose that coin that he's already made this year. But he gives you more options, I think, mate, with that flexibility. So I don't necessarily try to, time to trade him. I'd probably hold him.
He's not going to lose 100k. I mean, he might.
Do you know what? I'm going to go Flanders and Zeret. Spills?
Yeah, me too. Yep.
You with me? Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
And then you can plan for English later on, but you got to get Merritt for Anzac Day. 140 guarantee. Lock it
There
in.
you go. You heard it from a
Every
fellow
year.
Western supporter there, H. Beautiful,
Every
mate.
year.
Maximus.
Maxi boy.
Maxi.
How are you, mate? Hey, guys. Out. How's Jordan and Grundy? Yeah, great moves. Yeah, can't go wrong with any of those. Would you rather Closey, Marshall, and Steele? They're really good trades. Or Martin and English in does the fact that Marshall has 2 West Coast matchups remaining this year while English has 0 make Marshall a better option for R2? Well, we saw what Grundy did, and it wasn't much, but that's Grundy, different player altogether. I like the first move there. I like the idea of getting in Marshall and Steele, who are just such good picks. I mean, you can't go wrong there yet. Closey, go early on them. English, just a little bit overs for me at the moment. I think you want him to drop another 20 or 30K. Just a lot of money to pay up. It's going to hurt you in the long run. And I do like the 2 West Coast matchups for Rowan. Really good point you raised there. And he won't get any cheaper. Like, English won't get much more expensive. Rowan won't get any more cheaper because he had that absolutely horrible score against the Bombers last week. So the first one for me.
You're liking the value there, mate. With
I like the value, yeah. And then you can get Martin in next week because he's, as I said earlier in the potty, he's not going to go out. He's not going to go up too much for it to be impossible. He'll be priced around the same as Steele is now anyway. So if Martin still looks good, get another look at him and then bring Martin in next week. So I like the first one, mate. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say, you may lean towards Martin if you think that you really need to fix up your defense. If like your defense is really struggling,
Martin over Steele,
to go back.
I probably will because Martin will get defender DPP. So I'd almost go the first trade, use a bit of day cost DPP, and then get Martin in there. Over, I will change that. Yeah, the same first option, but yeah, Martin over Steele. As good as Steele's going, had a really good game on the weekend, small oval. But yeah, Nick Martin, I think pretty bloody hard to pass up.
So you're going Closey, Marshall, and Martin over Steele.
Yep.
Yep. Awesome, mate. All the best luck, buddy.
All right. We got Perch. Honcho was in this Q&A mailbag last week. I hope you're going well, man. I hope your team's doing nice. So what are your thoughts on Flanders' new halfback role? Do you think he's still average 110 plus? Absolutely. Yep. He'll rack it up. Doesn't matter. I said it 2 minutes ago, DR. Doesn't matter where he plays, as long as it's not in the forward line, which it won't be. He will be F2 quite comfortably. Very, very comfortable with that one. And he's so cheap, 70 break even. He's fine. Bring him in if you don't have him.
Yep.
So love the role. Whether he doesn't, I don't care if he plays ruck, mate. If he's scoring 125 every week, it's a win. So not that that's going to happen, but real hypothetical. As long as he's scoring well every week, that's what we want.
Look, we don't think he'll be rucking. He doesn't play for Luke Beveridge, but I think that one thing that you get with Flanders is whatever role it is, if it's halfback, I think that's good. And then if it's that midfield role that he's been playing,
great roles.
Yeah, either way you don't lose, mate. So whatever role, it's going to be good. And I'll bend bum down Burke Street, mate, if he's not in the top 3 averaging forwards by the end of the year. So fine with that, mate. Not worried with that role at all. Personally, others may disagree, but that's our take anyway. Cheers, brother.
Supercoach Nassar, do we get a bit carried away when pods have big games against West Coast? I suppose. I don't know. What do you reckon, DR?
I got burnt bringing Hogan in for that West Coast matchup. The bloke did like bugger all right, but then you see, Heaney's probably not a pod, is he? But with someone like Heaney against West Coast, like, come on, like it just destroyed them. So look, you can get a bit carried away with pods in matchups between those two sides, but at the end of the day, it's a bit of gut feel. You can get carried away, but I think that let's be honest, if you could choose your player to play against any sides, you'd probably be licking lips with the West Coast North matchup, wouldn't you? So we can at times, but I think that there's still data will suggest pretty favourable matchup. Spills, anything different from you there, brother?
No, you summed up pretty well. Can't argue with that one.
Good on you, Nessa.
Perchy again. Hey, boys, if you had to choose, who would you bring in this week out of Nick Martin and Wanganeen Malia? Nick Martin, for
Martin.
sure.
Yeah.
But that's, I don't know if that's, have I got my Essendon goggles on there, DR? Pick me up on that one. But, he's just dominating. Take out that 60 score he had against Hawthorn. He's averaging over 130. I think he's still averaging, what's the average in DR, even with that 60? I mean, he's still like bullshit numbers. I'm pretty sure.
I think what it comes down to, mate, is this bloke is probably the biggest seagull in the AFL at the moment. Don't worry about Jake Lloyd. This is Jake Lloyd on absolute steroids, mate. So, look, love Wanganeen Mirror, lovely user of the ball, elite player, future superstar of the comp. But the way Nick Martin's playing at the moment, the amount of ball he's getting, I'm going Martin every day of the week, CR7. Yep. But, Nazai's still a good pick. Don't get me wrong, but
Martin's better.
I'm looking to bring Martin in myself, mate. So, Martin for us, brother. Thanks, man. Here we go. The cousin of Jack Carroll, Jono Carroll.
Jono Carroll. How are you, Jono? DR's members, we got to shout that out every time because they deserve that entitlement. Absolute legends.
Yep.
G'day, legends. I'm looking at Grundy to English and Howes to Closey. Thoughts, please. It's such a pleasure owning the man of steel. I'm jealous of you, mate. And the beast of Libba. Can't wait to see him dominate the Bombers this week. Kudos to you for holding Libba. I wish I followed suit. I want to drive by it all. I respect his decision. It's my own doing, mate. I've made my own decisions and I've made my bed. I've got to lay in it now, but that is what it is. So only a question. I think it's fine. If you can get Grundy to English and Howes to Closey helps, I would do that. I don't see the problem with that. What do you reckon, DR? There's nothing wrong with these trades at all, I don't think. If you can get
Lock
that
it in
done.
and don't look back, Jono.
Yeah.
Lock it in and don't look back, mate.
Grundy to English. That'll work.
Absolutely, mate. Man. And my other pod at this point, jump on before he leads the dock. So we might have to get in the members chat there, Jono, and find out exactly who you're talking about, brother. All the best, mate. Cheers, Jono.
Kamo, absolute legend. Another real regular of the mailbag. We're starting to get a real common trend here of the regulars that tune in every week. So yeah, we love you all. Hey blokes, love your work as always. Is it worth using a boost to go Grundy into Meek? I know it's risky, but can see some upside. Meek continues to solo ruck. Cheers. Absolutely not. That is dangerous territory. I like Meek as a pick, but if that bombs, if they bring Reeves back into the side, or I mean, they've got a lot of ruckman to choose from. Like he played well. Where do you go? You're stuck. I mean, I don't like it. I really don't like it. I think he'd be a good pick. I think George is doing that, but not for me personally.
He could. Look, if you're really keen on Meek, I'm not going to completely talk it out here, but boosting for Meek is a different story for me.
I think the risk outweighs the reward with the boosts. I think you're stranded a bit if it does go pear-shaped. Like, what do you do? If Meek gets dropped for, buddy, what's his face?
Reeves.
What do you do? Like, who do you?
You're stuffed.
You're absolutely cooked. What you could do, it's a bit of a risk. The only suggestion that I could think of that would make it beneficial is if Sam Darcy gets DPP and you have him at R2 and just make everything else perfect in your team with a cash gen. But you're reluctant. Yeah, you're very dependent on that DPP happening. I don't think it's worth it for the boost. So I would, it might not be the answer you're after, Legend, but I would probably hold fire on that one.
Yeah, and I'd agree. And look, could be wrong, man. And if you go there, I hope I am wrong for you. But just the words Meek and boost in the same sentence, I just
shouldn't be in the same sentence.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that.
Yeah. Cheers, Kamo. Love you thinking out of the box, though, brother. You got to do this sort of stuff, man. So all the best, man.
The coacher, which option? How's Closey use them? Use this money next week to upgrade Massimo or Colby. Don't mind that. Option 2, Howes, Closey, Cadman to Graham.
I'm not trading
Colby,
Cadman.
Martin. Option 2 will get more points this week, but I'm already going to Rook's thoughts. Option 1, I think.
I'm
Seems a
going
bit
one.
more. Yeah, seems a bit. I think we've covered this question almost before. I think it's starting to get a little bit similar now. I think going early on Closey for Howes is perfect, and yeah, wait another week on Massimo, and do not trade Colby McKerchie yet. Do not do
Yeah,
that.
like
Wait, he's 3 weeks away from being traded, in my opinion, at least. Maybe
yeah,
Massimo next week. I think depends what he scores, but yeah, option 1, mate, 100%.
yeah, because option 2, where you're still going House to Closer, which is fine, but then you're getting rid of Cadman, who I think still got meat in the bone, solid job security, one of the best rookies with job security you'll find to Graham. So you're going too early there, using a boost, and also getting Colby out, which I think he's fine to keep. And then to Nick Martin, one clearly for me, mate. One clearly.
Yep.
All the best, legend. Jeez, here's the ladies'
again.
man. Here he
Hey,
is.
legends, is it time to jump if Harry Mackay, or like, is it
Off, I
time to
think.
jump
Off Harry Mackay.
off Harry Mackay for Flanders and Howes to Closey? Yes.
I'm doing that easily. Get rid of Harry. Get Sammy Flanders in, who you know is going to be a guaranteed top forward. And How's to Closey? Well, we've answered that question, I reckon, a million times, Spills. So, yes, calls up. We think it's time, brother. All the best, ladies, man.
Levi, if I had both LDU and Dawson, should I flip one to Martin or hold both? Was thinking probably LDU if I was to trade. This is something I would have done 3 weeks ago. So I think you got to hold because I think his cash gen's cooked. It's basically a sideways. I think you might be able to get away with one of them to Martin, but yeah, I would have seen that like 170 break even at 620k and gone, I'm out of it. I'm out of this. So
Yeah. Look, the issue is that, yeah, he's sort of, well, obviously he's not out of it. Do you know what, Spills? I'd probably be flipping one, man.
Yeah, you got nothing to lose.
Holding both is such a risk.
Get rid of one of them. I think LDU, and because the only reason I would say
holding or trading LDU.
Trading, yeah. The only reason I would hold Dawson over LDU is because like Dawson's still that almost number one man in the midfield. It crouched a little bit as well, but LDU is. Well, he's been sharing a lot with Powell. His CBAs have gone up. We've seen it with Lazaro. We've seen it with Simkin. I think that Wardlaw as well has been a really bad one. I think he's almost the main one, to be honest, in terms of the actual role. But I think Wardlaw has got a very negative impact on LDU. And when LDU was the number one man, he was scoring really well last year when he was fit.
It was his midfield, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he was the number one midfielder where he still is, but there's a lot of good players behind him that he's got to share his food this time. You know, no, there's more mouths to feed. We always say that's a good analogy to have, but yeah, LDU is. I don't think he's got a sustainable brand of point scoring at the moment because of that. So Dawson for that reason, because the only thing with Dawson is his disposal efficiency, which is just a bit of a fluke. And I think if you can fix that up, he'll come good. But LDU, I've got no interest whatsoever.
Yeah, and look, what I would say is don't blame yourself for starting both these fellas, mate. Look, I was really close to LDU, had a stiff round Dawson. LDU, the numbers like at the end of last year, the data post-buy, everything was looking so good for this bloke. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, mate, but I'd definitely be trading one. Just depends who'd prefer, brother. All the best of luck, man.
Flaghawks. Hey, lads, is it worth moving on from Grundy to Cherry this week or wait until English is available?
I'm waiting for English. What are you doing? What would you get Cherry in this week?
No.
I reckon it's way too late, man. I reckon it's way too late.
He's already made like 80k. Yeah, English is R1, so I think the wait will be worth it. So
yeah, this move should have been done 1 to 2 weeks ago at least. I'd say, man.
Yeah.
I just think you've missed the boat on Sherry, man. Just go English, in my opinion, anyway. I just don't think there's enough meat on the bone here, man. And remember that good old Sherry. Tell you what,
been a good
clear trip on Lockie Neal. Clear trip, the biggest trip I've ever seen. The man gets a free kick 4, so should have lost 4 points against. Free kick 4 for a tackle, then slots the goal, bugger off. I'm English every day of the week and twice on Sundays, brother. All the best, man. Jeez.
Love the potty, guys. Thanks, mate. Got to two-piecer. Would you guys
two-piecer.
advocate to fix dead rookies, get better scoring on field? Example, Caulfield to 5 or focus on getting premiums in. I'd fix your dead rookies because you're not getting any cash gen. So, and then question 2, what is one player you would steal from each other's teams if you could? DR, I'm taking Jack Steele for sure because I don't have him and he's making me pay every single week. So
yeah, well, you can have my Jack Steele and I'll take your Caleb Schlong, mate. Caleb, I
poor
was big
score
on
on the weekend, but only 94. So very unlucky.
Look, we all have a down week,
Day.
I think, mate. But look, if there's anyone that I was really tempted on bringing myself, it's definitely the big Schlong there. So, or he's a bit of a smaller Schlong, isn't he? He's in stature there. But we'll stop that discussion. Look, yeah, definitely the Schlong from Spills' team. The only thing I will say is that, look, I also like the idea of getting primos in. The example that you've used there, Caulfield to 5, I hate, mate. There was no way that I would go Caulfield to 5. I'd be going Caulfield to your Clousey type pick. So I wouldn't be doing that. If you're going, if the choice is Caulfield to 5 or get a primo in, I'd get a primo in every day of the week, mate. But nothing wrong with fixing dead rookies anyway. So yeah, I suppose that's my 2 cents on there, Spilsy. Go on your cheese. Cheers, man. Ian, nice, strong name is Ian, in my opinion. Spills.
That's just a solid name.
Absolutely.
Right. Is Jackson to Sir Isaac next week a bad move? Why don't you have Isaac
next week?
Well, no, you got to get Isaac surely. I think I checked this today. 40% DR, lower than I thought. I reckon.
Is that it? 40%. Damn, he's hurting a lot of people, man.
He's averaging 140 plus, and it's round 5. I mean, look, I don't like trading Jackson this week, but if it gets you Isaac, yeah, send it. I reckon.
He's saying, but the issue, what I'd want to know, and first of all, Sir Isaac Haney, I love that, Ian. Thank you, mate. I have crowned him or honoured him, knighted him. I think is the word. I've knighted him at the moment. What I want to know, Ian, is why you're looking to do it next week. I'm a much bigger fan of doing it this week, man, because if you look at Jackson's break even compared to Heaney's break even, like Heaney's soaring up, Jackson's probably coming down.
Might need a Ruckman though, so maybe he's. I don't know.
Ian, I am really interested in this, man. So can you do us a favor and comment on this post why you're looking to go next week? Yep. I'm sure there's a reason, but in isolation, if you've got the choice between doing it this week or next week, the break evens, the numbers, the data would suggest get the move done now, mate, while Jackson's at his peak and Heaney's still rising. So, yeah, let us know why you're looking to do it next week, brother. Look forward to that, Ian. As I said, love the name as well, mate. Nice and simple. No mucking around. Ian, love it, mate. Thanks, buddy.
PC Madness. Hey, fellas.
PC.
What do you think about Zorko? Looks good this year. Ooh. Decent role. Can't afford games. Have Jackson and Heaney already. Not too many 4 premiums this year. Stay away from him. He is the most injury-prone player in the competition. Got the weakest Achilles in the competition. Hamstrings as well, the lot. He's on the wrong side of 30, plus 4 years, just about. No way. And I think he's too expensive for what he can do. I would wait for something better to roll up. But if you've got good rookie cover, if you've got like a Dempsey, a Darcy, a Cadman, blokes that can come on and play a role for the time being, persist with that. I'm not going anywhere near Zorko. 10-foot pole territory, DR. Not for me. What do you reckon? You're the Brisbane man. I'll allude to you. But, no way for me.
Look, mate, if it's the role, the talent, the skill, and we're talking even about a 30-year-old here, I'm on board. I'm on board, Zorko. But we're not talking about that, mate. We're talking blokes coming to his mid-30s now, had durability issues, as Spills just outlined. It's just such a risk, mate. Zorko is a player who I believe, similar to Yo, can just break down at any time, mate. And given his age, I think he may be in line for a potential rest if the game is iced. Like, why are you going to continue to play Zorko if he's playing a really important role for us and we're 10 goals up? Just have a rest, son, like they did with Lockie Neal last week. Just go to the bench. So that may hurt him a little bit. But yeah, look, love the role, mate. He's playing really well within that role. But age and durability just puts me off this pick, mate. And he's one of those players that you're just always going to be concerned about. Like, I hope Zorks doesn't do something to himself this week. But yeah, thinking outside the box. And at the moment, mate, certainly up there with the best forwards. Don't get me wrong, but we got to think long-term with our picks. And I don't think Dane Zorko is going to be a long-term pick, given his age and durability, mate. But if you trust his body, you think he's got more of that Libba-type DNA, you could go there. But huge risk for me, mate. I'd be going elsewhere. But cheers, buddy. Love the fact that you're thinking outside the box again. Cheers, PC.
Yep. Owen Marley really tossing up Gawn and Marshall now. Will Gawn's body hold up? Should I hop on before the bye, or Marshall for the extra game and cheaper? Also, which rookie is the safest to go early on, and which ones are the boys getting? Appreciate the work as always. I'll be tuning in.
Cheers, Owen. Last one's easy, Spills. We've talked about this at length. Which rookies are safest to go early on? It's I think it's closely incumbent. Yep.
I will allude to the Gawn one. I think this is a tough one. I can't prepare for this answer because I don't know many teams that don't have Max Gawn. But if you don't, does have his buy. Rowan is at the cheapest he'll ever be. I think at the moment, Rowan.
Wow. I would go Gawn every day of the week.
You reckon?
Simply because, and you're right, Spills. Look, don't get me wrong. There's arguments that way, absolutely. But I think he is a must-have. I'm that strong on Max Gawn.
You're right.
He's on another level to even English this year, man. Like the bloke is just.
He looks good.
He's got a point to prove.
Thinking like just because he's got the buy, literally.
You're right. Round. Nah, you are absolutely right. But
I'm probably right because everyone's going to cop that anyway. So yeah, I'll go Gawn, but I can see Rowan being a good pick. But I wouldn't have Rowan if I didn't have Gawn. So
I think that Gawn can put
20 points.
10 plus points a week on Rowan. I think, mate. I really can in decent form. And this isn't a dig at Rowan. This is just huge praise for Max Gawn. And, mate, we've talked about players that can hurt you if you don't own them. I'd almost go as far to say, I reckon Isaac Heaney would be the number one anti-pod that you would just hate to be anti-podding at the moment. Gawn's probably number two, the worst.
Not far from one, though, Max Gawn. He's going to go large against Brisbane.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'll be there as well. So, Gawn for me, man. But Rowan, hey, very, very decent consolation prize if you don't, mate. Yep. Here we go. Will, hey lads, is it now too late to get Gawn, or should I just go for Marshall? Just answered it, Will. I'm still on Gawn, man. I'm still on Gawn. I'm huge on him. And Spills, you're leaning that way as well, man.
I think so. I like the logic for if it was any. Yeah, it's a tough one because I like the logic for Rowan. No better time to get him. Gawn does have his buy, but that ownership.
Yeah,
everyone's going to cop it, and he's going to kill Brisbane. He'll be fine. Go Gawny. Luke, hey lads, appreciate the advice you give.
Cheers,
locked into making these 3 trades with Grundy, Jordan, and going Marshall to a close. They're pretty stock standard. With my last trade, I'm stuck on which primo to get for House. I've got 600k, and I've narrowed my options to Whitfield, Martin, or Steele. I am going to go Steele and Martin by a very long way. And then I'm going to go Martin just because he's going to get that defensive DPP. And we did talk about that not too long ago. So we have covered this question, but I like Martin a little bit more than Jack Steele, even though Steele's carving it up.
Yeah, and again, mate, we talked about, I reckon half the podcast was probably talking about Steele last week, wasn't it, Spillsy? So we won't go over that again, mate. But yeah, I agree with Spills. I just think Martin's just in red hot form and he's going to get that DPP. Switching into our defensive lines is going to be a godsend, mate.
We've seen it now. We know he's the real deal.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, Spills, these two over Whitfield by the length. Yeah,
but absolutely. They're pretty close.
All right. Cheers, brother.
Logan. have English and Cherry ruck combo at the moment. That's a very good ruck combo. You'd be happy with that. Great point of difference too, by the way. What is the best plan to have with these two? Feel like I could be losing points with Cherry most weeks, but making good whole week for me. But when it's time to move him on, or when is it time to move him on? I reckon Cherry's been a really nice pod. Like Grundy hasn't really been setting the world on fire, which is most other people's are too. If you could get Cherry to on,
it's easy.
We spoke about this. We spoke about this anti-podding on Max Gorn. It's not a bad ruck combo. I do like it. English is really, really good, but yeah, Max Gorn, DR, you summed it up really well before. You got to get him in. Oh, it's a tricky one.
What we do is this, Bills. What we do is this. So Cherry, give 2 more weeks. Max Gorn plays this week, then has a bye the week after. Obviously, he's looking to go up in coin this week, but so is Cherry. Okay. So you keep Cherry this week. He'll hopefully make as much as Max will make in a week. You'll then hopefully get another price rise from Cherry during Gorn's bye and that extra on-field score. I think when Gorn comes back, hopefully 2 decent scores from Cherry. Break even might be up again. Flip then for me, mate. So I reckon you hold Cherry for 2 more weeks and then get Gorn coming off his bye after a nice rest and just enjoy owning the big band. So that would be my answer to that one, Spilsy.
Yep. Supercoach Benny Mack. Hey, lads, would you go Grundy to English and Jordan to Graham or no boost needed? 120k left for next week's upgrades or Grundy to Meek, Jordan Steele, Field Closey. Currently 3 boosts left. That's pretty solid. 3 boosts is all right. I'd go the first one, but I would go probably Closey instead of Graham. But I don't know. I like him a lot better, as we discussed. But
so he's got
I like English more than. I'd rather pay up for English than go down for Meg, who could burn you. At least you know English is probably easily R2. But it is a tricky question. There's a lot of outcomes here.
I hope we are giving the right advice here. Like, I'm finding this Meek situation so hard to read because the issue is, you already mentioned it, if someone like George is looking to go there, and I really respect his opinion, then we'd be silly to say it's a bad move, like just straight out, like, no, I don't like it. But I just think it's fraught with risk. I'm just such a fan at the moment of really trying to bring in solid premiums and no more speculative picks. I think we start with a few speculative ones, see how they go. Even before the first price rise off a couple of games ago, I might now. I just think it's getting later in the season.
I don't want to muck around in the ruck.
No, the ruck merry-go-round, mate. How many times?
There's value, but it's just it's a tough one because Meek's not a bad pick. He had a really good game, but I love the idea of just having Gorn and English and never looking back because they're easily R1, R2. Roland won't be far abouts, but you can't go wrong with any of the 3 as long as you got Gorn in that combo. So, I don't like Meek as much.
Number 1
but
for me.
I can see why you would do it, and it's very team dependent. And keep in mind, George is doing it because he doesn't have Luke Jackson. We do. So that is a team dependent reason to go Meek, and I don't mind it because there's a little bit of strategy involved. We have the luxury DR. If you got Jackson, then I wouldn't stress. Very safe R2 for now, Dogger.
Agreed, man.
Yep. Logan Jennings again. Hey lads, what are your thoughts on bringing in Fife this week? Really strengthens my forward line, and it seems like last week to get him, if he does become a keeper, allows 1 rookie in the forward line. We're still having 15 players averaging 85 plus. You'd probably say no because he has the ship sailed, but after what I saw on the weekend, looked pretty good. But
there's not a chance for me, dude. Not a chance.
See, I don't own him, DR, so I don't actually know what sort of. I don't even know what he's been scoring. I know he's had a couple of 60s, but looked really good on the weekend. He's another one why I went shit on the weekend too, because I don't own Fife and he went off.
Yeah, well, what he's done, mate, he's gone 100 plus, 69, 69, and about 102. So he's getting his 200 pluses and the 69s. The issue is, mate, you bring it in someone. It is like the scores are okay, and The issue is, mate, you bring in Nat Fyfe now. Remember, we're just like those who started him are basically started him crossing our fingers, just going, please get through the first, 7, 8 games. Please just get through. Hopefully that's enough. Ship you off.
Yeah.
I don't think he can be a keeper because I don't think his body holds up. We know for a fact that he'll be getting rested. So he'll be getting subbed out during particular games, particularly when the game's already iced. They're going to manage their absolute aging superstar, right? Now, you can't deny Fyfe. He's got that role. He's in good form at the moment. But getting him in at this stage, you're not getting him for as much value. At least starting him, if his body lets him down, you go, well, I haven't wasted 2 trades getting him in, then getting him out. I just think someone like Fyfe is super dangerous. In saying that, like my forward line before moving Dogwood, all the rest is, Dogger, Heaney, Flanders, and Powell, and then Fyfe. So I think that's probably one of the stronger forward lines that you're going to get at this stage. So he does look really good there. But is he a viable long-term pick? Probably not. What happens if he goes 69 again? You may be even tempted to trade him out again. So
yeah, no I agree. Yeah, no way. I'm on board with that.
Yeah, good on you, Logue. Last one, mate. We have Jackie Plumridge. Jackie boy.
Hey, guys. What are your thoughts on Loman's job security and potential cash gen last week against North? Was a one-off. Do you think you can keep reducing it? DR did a video on Loman today. Great man. I'll put the link in the description. If you want to do that, DR, just click on that and, we'll answer all your questions in there. Save you a lot of time. So,
yeah, it must have been on another post because that's all for the mailbag, but it must have been on another post. I had a few replies about him, and so I thought, look, what I'll do is I'll just chuck out. It goes for about 13 minutes or 10 to 15 minutes, I think, and give the numbers, do a bit of a deep dive because I thought rather than having to DM everyone back and meshes, let's just make a quick video, Spills, and all my thoughts will be there on Kyle Loman. So make sure that you check it out. A very interesting selection, Spills, when you take a deep dive there. So yeah, all the info will be on a separate video for that. Legend, I think that is it for the mailbag for this week, mate.
Beauty.
Thank you very much as all for all your questions here, boys. Thank you very much.
Effective mailbag
as well.
Yep. Very effective mailbag as usual. It seems to be 60% of the podcast nowadays, the mailbag. People love tuning in. So yeah, we appreciate your feedback and your questions because we've got such a great community with the podcast. So hopefully we did our best to answer them all. Not rocket science with Supercoach DR. Myself in particular, I've made a couple of clangers, but we do our best.
We all have, brother. But again, I just noticed as well, Spills, there's 16 notifications there. Could be more questions. I didn't do the live Q&A last week because we actually got to all the questions, mate. There was none others. We literally got there. But if there are any more, live Q&A, happy to do that this week. So, Spillsy, is it time to talk some trades before we finish off with our captains?
Real quickly, we'll jump into our trades. I have mine revealed anyway. We'll discuss with Janath. Get him done and dusted while he's not here. Early trade plans for Janath this week are either A, Massimo, Jordan to Nick Martin. Yep, swallow my ego. I think we all are, mate. Don't worry about that.
Look at that comment thread with swallowing our ego.
Yeah, look, we all did it. So, yeah, I'm happy with Nick Martin or Closey. B, Grundy to Howes and Marshall Closey. I like the idea of fixing up the ruck. Janath doesn't have Dogger. So, yeah, it's essentially Marshall versus Martin. I think we also covered that. I don't want to talk Janath into any trade, so I'll get him to make his own decision because he's got the runs on the board more than I do anyway. I've been stumped a couple of times for a few duck eggs, particularly last week. Looking at you, Libba. So, yeah, they're Janath's trades for this week. Looking good, man. Don't mind it. Can't go wrong with either. I mean, you can always bring in Marshall the following week, but I like him this week. So, you'll see how you go with that. DR will not be boosting. Very reasonable with his boosts, DR. He values them a lot. Myself, I just abuse them. I just chuck them out there. Nothing. We got them. I just tear through them. Different strategy. But DR's looking to get Berry and Grundy out this week for Closey and Martin. I really, really like those trades. Did you get rid of Jordan last week? You
I
did,
did, mate.
you?
I did.
Bloody,
Yeah.
what a move that is. 50-70 he went. Great
Jordan
move. No
for
wonder like you
Flanders.
trumped me. That's one of many reasons that you did really well. So if I had Jordan, which I do, I'd be boosting to get out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I can't fault you for any of those trades. Where my trades for this week are very similar to DR, but I feel like DR is a couple of steps ahead of me. He's already got rid of Jordan and he's already got Flanders in. So I'm just chasing my tail at this point. I'm only boosting again just so I can get back in the game. I think I'm pretty well there now. I've got the players that I think are very obvious. So the only one that really stands out for me, got unlucky with a Sharp and a Fife type, but Jack Steele, he's the only one that I don't really have that's going to make me pay a lot. So yeah, Jordan, Grundy, Barry, got to go. Happy with that. And then, going early on Closey. So I'm going to have 22 on field this week. Every single point counts. So it's going to really go a long way for best 18. So happy to do that. Flanders is going to come in and, I'm swallowing my pride as well. Janath, I'm bringing in Nick Martin and DR too. So, I think you just got to get him back in. It's not so much Nick Martin as a pick that makes him so viable. It's that DPP. He's going to get defensive DPP, and how good is it going to be, as we discussed before, flipping him in the back line. So happy to do that. DR, 4 boosts in a row, but would you advocate not doing these trades? Would you keep Barry for a week and hold fire on a Closey, or would you? I mean, these are inevitable trades. If I don't do it this week, I'm doing it next week and boosting next week anyway. So I think these trades will allow me to do 2 next week, and then I'll hold on to my last boost for a very, very rainy day. I'll cherish that last boost with all of my heart. So that's about it for my trades, DR. If anything you want to comment?
Well, you're boosting for 2 premiums, mate. This is the thing. That's what I like.
I am.
You're boosting for 2 blokes that you believe are going to be in your side for the remainder of the year, and I think they're really good chances to do that. We're not talking about a speculative like you. I don't want to rag on it, but there's been a lot of questions about like Meek, for example, who's questionable. You're boosting by getting in, let's be honest, a must-have rookie that should be in 100% of sides by the end of next week. And then you're getting someone that should be in 100% of sides with Flanders, and then going with, I wouldn't call it a risk. I think Martin's looking pretty safe to be a top 8 averaging defender. You're getting him in the midfield now, but looking to move him back. So, mate, I am more than okay with that. Have no problems whatsoever, mate. So I think
it'll be fun owning Martin again. Be able to go to games and enjoy watching him. I was at St Kilda where he carved it up, had 44, and I traded him. So,
mate, there you go.
Heard a little bit. So it's going to be fun owning Martin, and maybe even Maris next week. We'll see how we go. But that's a discussion for another podcast. DR, our captains, mine in particular, super vanilla. Gone for Bont. Can't go wrong, can you? I mean, Gorney's just going to dominate Brisbane. It's not like Heaney's got West Coast again. I think if I did get a 125 to 130 from Gawn, I think I'd take it. But Bonampally, a real safe fallback against Essendon, who do leak a lot of points. Might pay a little bit of attention to him at stoppage with Setterfield. But other than that, I think, Bont's going to really step up. So, and there's just not much else. Like, I'm not a big fan of, maybe Green against St Kilda I also like, but I feel a lot safer with Bont. And I don't think we're going to need him at all with Max Gawn. What about yourself, mate?
Absolutely the same, mate. So it's going to be out of the first 3 games where I'll use my VC and my captain. So absolutely the same as you. Gone into Bont, I think he's such a no-brainer. So easy just to get out of the way.
It's on a platter.
Oh, it is. It's meant to be, I think, this week. And then what a matchup it's going to be. Tom Green going head-to-head, hopefully, with Jack Steele. That would just be awesome to watch. They're going to tackle. It's going to be exciting spills. But I think at the same time, I don't really like the look of their ceilings for this particular game. I love Gawn's ceiling in this game. I love Bont's ceiling in this game. So I'm exactly the same as you, mate. We don't have Sir Isaac this week, so we can't go there. We don't have Nicky D for those that might want to go. So Gawn into Bont is what I'm doing, and I don't think they on the screen.
It couldn't be set any better. I mean,
exactly right. And
imagine
Janath
if
is doing the same.
Bont and Pally played. Imagine if the Essendon Bulldogs game was before. Like, you want Gawn for that high ceiling. I think Gawn's got the ceiling and Bont's got the safe fallback. So where it was the other way
Absolutely.
around, like a 125 from Bont would have me scratching my head for the same reasons as Heaney last week, because you just know
Yeah.
that he's going to go off. So yeah, I'm very happy
Absolutely
to
with you.
VC Gawn for Bont. And I think every man his dog should do that. No excuses. Get it done.
Well, Janath, you know what him and Rossi are like on the third man up with their captain's corner. If Janath's going Gawn into Bont, I reckon we're in pretty good company.
They're not
there.
required this week, DR. They do a great job, but I think this is the 1 week where
Take the week off, boys. You reckon? Just settle down and enjoy
your holiday,
trip in
Janath. I
Europe
mean, just
and,
kick back in Amsterdam and do your thing, man. I mean,
yeah, that's it, mate.
I'd be
That's
kicking
it.
back in Amsterdam if I could, but
Oh, wouldn't we
I
be?
wouldn't be worrying about my captains.
Yeah,
Captaincy
mate.
corner.
I wouldn't remember who my captain is and who I've even got my Supercoach side. If I
No,
was
I wouldn't even
chilling
remember that I
mate.
have Supercoach. I'd be
Yeah,
like,
well,
I have a Supercoach team. Fair enough. Yeah, right.
just pass it to the left. Yeah.
DR, we got to go to bed. We've
Oh no, where's this going?
Going on a bloody tangent here. Good pod, solid again. 2 hours. I think
solid, mate. Yep.
Overs for what I thought. I always think we're going to go not as long as we do, but we got a great involvement with the community, and we love all the questions and feedback that we get, because all of it's just so positive. We never read the mailbag and see any negative comments, which is great. So another successful podcast, DR. I think we covered everything really well. We'll keep you updated with every other comment on Twitter. I'll be answered. I think, DR, you're going to go over that again, are you? Because there's still another 15 or 16 comments.
Yeah, man. It's just so hard. By the time we start,
it's too hard to keep on track. I mean, it's 2 hours, and we can't.
Yeah.
We might have to pick a certain amount of questions that we think are the most sort of relevant for future. We're gonna have to manage it, because when Janath comes back, it'll be like a 4-hour podcast if we dissect everything. So,
oh mate, see, he keeps us in line, though. He keeps us in line, doesn't he? Remember, he's like, sometimes in the private chat while we're recording, like, boys, let's get a bit of a move on here.
Yeah.
So he'll be
we
welcome.
Need Janath hosting again, I think. I think we do a good job, but I think Janath is he's a real professional in this group. I'm happy to admit
for it. But Spills, you have smashed it hosting, and I think everyone that's listening will agree these last couple of weeks, mate. So you have stepped in magnificently well, my friend, and
Thanks,
very much a natural, mate. You've steadied the ship tonight. We haven't gone 3 hours. We're about 2 hours and 7 minutes at the moment.
That's fine. I think we'll wrap it up.
We've done well. Let's wrap it up, son.
Good stuff, mate. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll take it easy. And as always, we'll see you guys in the next podcast.
Catch you, legends. Cheers.